This podcast is presented by Zack Labs, Cosbon, the instant costume adhesive. Have you ever had issues using materials to build cosplay costumes, theater props, or everyday repair? We have the solution you've been looking for. Zack Labs proudly presents our latest product, Cosbon, the instant costume adhesive. What you get is a 8.5 by 12 inch sheet. You simply peel off both sides much like you would double stick tape, except this isn't that. This is our patent-pending microfiber-infused adhesive that has a tensile strength of up to 100 pounds. This unique adhesive sheet is instant, and boy, do we mean instant. Activation is different than other products, as ours works purely by pressure. Simply peel and stick, applying even force, and it bonds. Instantly. It's human-safe, non-toxic, pet-safe, no fumes, and the best part, it won't ever stick to your hands. Rated for up to 75 wash cycles before starting to give. Great in the cold, rain, and even the heat. Stick anything to almost anything. Metals, plastics, most cloths, and best of all for all you cosplayers and costume builders, is all of your foam materials. While it does stick instantly, leave it alone with a bit of pressure for 24 hours and it cures to even stronger. So wave your magic wand and just use Cosbond, the instant costume adhesive. You are listening to a Dynamic Works Productions podcast. This show is available on iTunes, Stitcher Radio Network, and many, many more podcast services around the world. You can find all our content, music, videos, books, podcasts, and more on our website, www.dynamicworksproductions.com. Have questions, comments, or concerns for us? Head on over to the social tab on www.dynamicworksproductions.com if you'd like to talk to us. Now, on with the show. Welcome back to another episode of the Fork in Your Ear podcast. I'm your host, as always, author, podcaster, and gamer, Tim K.A. Trotter, and joining me for his return trip to the Fork in Your Ear podcast from the Fork in Your Ear fam. You know him from the Discords as Burningwing, and he.
What's up, everyone?
Yeah. I was gonna do a whole thing because I usually call Buster my faithful stallion. I was gonna say you were coming in on a steel horse.
Oh, that would have been the good.
A steel horse you ride?
Steel horse I ride.
There you go.
Wanted, dead or alive.
Exactly. Exactly that. So, boy, we have got some things to talk about on this week's Forks episode. Oh, yeah. Good sirs. Let's see. The Game Awards happened Thursday night, and boy, there was both awards and a lot of surprises. There's a lot going on in movies right now, which is quite interesting. Everything from Avengers 4 trailer dropping, to Captain Marvel trailer, to the early reviews from fans for Aquaman are in. Yeah, there's just a whole lot going on in the weeks leading up to Christmas of 2018. So, as is our custom on Fork, I'm going to go spin the ring, and we're going to find out which topic we land on. Here we go. All right. We have landed on video games. Fantastic. That's great. We have a lot to talk about.
Perfect.
So let's get the bad newses out of the way first before we get to some happy newses. Poor Bethesda Games cannot catch a break with Fallout 76. Um, have you? Is that a game that you're interested in there, Burningwing?
No, it's not. I have heard all the controversy about it, but to me, it's kind of weird. Like all the big reviews keep saying it's the horrible, the worst,
Mm-hmm.
buggy. Everyone that I know that has it
Yeah.
says it's great. Says they don't see any of those bugs. They haven't had any of those problems.
Hmm.
Anything like that.
That's interesting. I wonder if the bugs are cropping up more on certain platforms than others.
I'm wondering if it's not mainly PC that has the bugs, because most people I know
Yeah.
that have it on Xbox.
Well, see, it's interesting. So I know of one Fork family member who has it on PS4 on our Discord, and he
Hmm.
was saying that it's just not that bad. That's what I've heard.
Hmm.
However, at the same time, my coworker, he's a big Fallout guy, and when we're driving someplace for work, he is both enraged because he wants to play the Fallout 76, but he keeps watching all these videos on just how just just all of the bad parts are just coming to the forefront on YouTube and stuff like that. And like he was showing me a video the other day where they somebody was in a group because it's multiplayer, so they were in a party of 4 people and they were walking into a town and the frame rate dropped
Hmm.
to 5 frames a second. And I was
I
just
remember
like,
hearing
oh,
about that. Yeah.
that's bad. And I know they delivered an update just this last weekend for it, but I haven't heard too much about it. But sadly, the controversy this week on Fallout 76 is not with how bad or how bad isn't the game. Um, so I guess people's collector's editions showed up, and they were promised a canvas bag of some sorts for like their collector's ultimate edition, whatever it's called.
Yeah.
And there's far too many videos out there, and people have opened up their boxes, and it's like a shitty nylon.
Yeah. Or I guess it's real bad.
Yeah, but it gets worse. And I don't know if you heard this, but so apparently because these bags were shitty, they went to Bethesda's website to submit a support ticket. And uh,
I heard this one.
oh yeah, it's brutal.
So
And
bad.
so apparently many hundreds of people have submitted support tickets on faulty bags or being unhappy with what they were advertised, right? And
Right.
that's totally within your consumer right.
Exactly.
But apparently, a handful of people, when they messaged the support ticket service for Bethesda, got a return ticket with just hundreds and hundreds of actual Bethesda consumer base people who have purchased the game, complete with home address, credit card information, purchase history, phone numbers, all the private data that you would
Not want
entrust
anyone to have.
to one of these video game companies. And then, of course, it wasn't too long before hackers found this and, of course, took all the data and spread it online.
Of course.
So, um, I just, I mean, at this point, I feel bad for Bethesda. I really do because, like, I enjoy their games, and something that all us gamers and Fork fam should probably understand is, it's not the development studio for responsible for Fallout 76 is not the primary Bethesda Softworks who's up in Maryland. It's actually a different studio that's down in Texas that they acquired recently to do this project. And so, considering it was basically a new studio made up of veterans, like the amount of clusterfuck around this is just I feel bad. Like their game is getting shit on. Their collector's edition stuff wasn't what was promised, and now they've leaked everybody's personal and financial data.
Yeah.
Like, how does this happen? Like, I can't think of a bigger mess up in gaming history, especially coming from what is supposed to be a AAA video game studio.
I
I
mean,
can't think of anything, really.
the only one that pops in my mind is the Sony one from several years ago.
Oh, where the whole network went down and all of our
Yeah,
information
all
got
of our information
compromised.
got. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember
Uh,
that.
yeah, I got a couple free games out of that. So
Oh, yep, me too. Me too. Not that was great.
right.
Wasn't exactly a comparable to
Yeah,
having your account leaked.
exactly.
Um,
But
but yeah, you're right.
but
I
yeah,
think that's probably the next biggest thing I could think of. You know,
Yeah,
because even the Battlefront 2 thing with microtransactions and people getting screwed over, you know, there wasn't account leaks. You know, there wasn't, as far as I know, their collector's editions didn't screw people over too. So
it just sounds like there's like you said, it's a different studio other than Bethesda, Maryland, but it just sounds like they didn't know what they were getting into whenever they gave them this project.
yeah, yeah, it's pretty crazy.
So,
It's pretty crazy.
uh, and it kind of sounds like it was rushed. Like
I mean,
they needed something to come out.
yeah, yeah, I agree. I think there's two potential factors. I think one, it could be rushed. That's definitely a possibility. Two, the financial overlords, you know, corporate of Bethesda games, you know, pushed for it to be out because they needed the money to sustain other projects or something. But at the same time, though, that kind of doesn't make complete sense because it does kind of seem like they're selling some new version of Skyrim or some version of something that's remade for something like every
Yeah,
other
like
month.
Doom. I
Yeah,
mean, they're putting
exactly.
Doom on everything. It's gonna be running on the phones here before too long.
Oh, I mean, you know, it's already on the Switch. I personally have the Doom, the 2016 Doom on my Switch.
Yeah,
Um, and it's, you know, it's quite remarkable that it's there.
that may be. I don't know. When was the actual last time they released a full game like this, though? Besides Doom in 2016, it was what, Skyrim back in what was that,
Mm,
2012?
no, because they're also they're see, that's always the confusing thing about Bethesda is it is one company, but it basically has two divisions. There's the Bethesda Publishing, and
Uh-huh.
they publish stuff like Prey and
I
Dishonored.
forgot about Prey.
We forget that those are in their stable of
Yeah,
games. And then there's Bethesda Softworks or Game Studio, as it's now called. I think Softworks is the older one. I apologize for that, folks. Game Studio is the one who does Skyrim and um, and Fallout and stuff. And then they also own id, which does, of course, Doom. And then it's not id, but it's in collaboration with id. I want to say it's Machine Games, who does the Wolfenstein games. That's also a Bethesda game, but from their publishing
yeah,
side because they own the rights to
yeah.
it. So
But
that,
still, Wolfenstein has
yeah.
been out for a couple of years now too. I think he came out right around the same time Doom did.
Uh, I remember at the console launch it was whatever those Wolfenstein games were, and then they had a couple of big expansion DLCs to it, and then last year was Wolfenstein 2: The New Order. That's
The
what
new
it was,
Colossus.
or New
Yeah,
Colossus. New Order,
yeah, that
maybe I
was
think was
last
one of
year.
their DLCs. Yeah. So you know they have had stuff every year because I think the year before that was what, Dishonored 2. I think.
Mm.
Well, actually, no, Prey was last year too, wasn't it?
Yeah, Prey was last year.
Yeah, because it was a big summer game. Because at E3 this year, they're announcing all that.
DLC
Yeah,
for it.
all that DLC for it, which is interesting. Okay, so you know, they got some pies in the air. That's for sure.
Yeah, they got more than I realized.
Yeah. All right. So last bit of video game developer news that's terrible. Um. So this is gonna affect anybody who's a Harry Potter fan who's playing the Hogwarts Mystery Game on their phones, which was the first official game from WB Games and the newly formed Harry Potter video game studio called Porky Games. I played a little bit of it, but the free to play mechanics on it are kind of fucked in my opinion. But it's a quality made game, regardless of if you don't have money to play it. So I guess there's basically a subcontractor developer who was working on that game called Jam City, who's been doing mobile games for a while. So they just all got laid off. Because their parent company, I guess, just signed a deal with Disney, and they literally just pulled everybody off of Harry Potter Hogwarts Mystery Game to go work on Disney games.
Mm.
And those who were non-essential got straight up fired. And I was like, holy crap.
Wow.
Like, that's that's a brutal, brutal thing. And part of me has to kind of wonder if, okay, yes, Disney's the bigger pony in the sea, as it were. But you also have to kind of wonder if that wasn't strategic on Disney's part. Oh, we offer them a contract for Disney games. We crush a WB property in the video game land.
Yeah.
Like I could see it totally being that as well.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, it is. Man, this back half of 2018 has not been kind to video game developers. So
No.
it sucks. And my condolences to everybody who lost their jobs on that one. Okay, so in a surprising turn of events, Epic Games has announced that they are launching a Epic Games store, which is the first direct competitor to Steam in the computer video gaming market space that I've seen in ever.
But Nvidia does have a version of their own.
Oh,
it's not very popular
for their Shield products.
And you use it for their cards and everything. You can.
Okay.
It is tied in a lot more with their Shield TV and stuff like that. But
that makes sense. But like, yeah, I think it's just some of the developers have specific video game stores. Like I know EA's got one, Ubisoft's got one. But as far as PC gaming goes, you either get it from Steam or well, there's Good Old Games, which is, I mean, they do modern games, but they also do specialize in the back catalog of games, which is kind of their shtick. But there's never really been a competitor with Steam. And this is going to dovetail into the Game Awards announcements because like 60% of the games that they announced at the Game Awards in 2018, just a couple days ago, are launching exclusively in early access or launching plain exclusively on Epic Games Store. And it's like, whoa, this is a really huge power move from Epic Games. In my opinion, considering that there's never been,
Yeah, for sure. But to back it up for just a minute, with the game store thing, Discord actually has one that they just started too.
Right. That's right.
It's similar like that. And I think that's all I see.
Now the thing that I don't remember, because I use Discord a lot, was their game store, is it theirs or is it that they have a partnership with Good Old Games?
The way I understand it is it's their own. And I don't think they get a lot of AAA titles. I think it's more indie stuff.
Which is fine.
But they tie it in with your Discord Nitro account apparently. And so you get stuff for free. Like, so you pay $10 a month for Discord Nitro, but you get the games for free.
That makes sense. Sweet. Yeah, there's a lot of these as incentive type join this thing and you get extra stuff with it type services.
Yeah, you see it all over the place, especially with like the movie apps nowadays.
Yeah,
like I have the Movies Anywhere app. It used to be like Disney Play Movies or something like that.
Oh, right. Okay.
And it had me sync Google Play, Vudu, iTunes, Fandango, and something else. I ended up altogether, I think I got like 10 free movies out of the deal. And they were decent movies. I mean, they weren't, just some bottom shelf stuff. Like, I got some kids movies, got some adult movies and whatnot. Whenever I did all that. I mean, now granted, it's not a physical copy, because I don't like the fact that, technically if that goes away, you don't own that movie anymore. You're more like you were renting it. But.
Yeah, I've only encountered that. So as Forkfam knows, I have my dick way up into the vagina of the Apple ecosystem of iTunes and whatnot.
You do? I had no idea.
Yeah,
I hadn't heard that.
It's okay. We'll get to the Android part, because I remember a while ago you're like, let's Android duel, and I was like, all right, we need somebody to talk intelligently about it. I'm down. I'm always down for a tech comparison challenge. But yeah, I have only experienced a movie disappearing from at least iTunes once.
Right.
There's this really oddball but kind of underrated, in my opinion, romantic sci-fi movie called Upside Down from, God, I don't know, 6, 7 years ago. You ever heard of this movie?
I have not.
Basically, there's like two planets that are somehow like they're like a couple miles apart from each other. Like if you looked up from your house, you could see somebody else's house on a planet
Yeah.
above you.
Uh,
And I mean that doesn't work planetary systems
right.
wise, but it was an interesting conceit for a film. And like there's this dude on one planet who fell in love with a girl from the other planet, so he had to figure out a way to get up to that planet because people from one planet, if they were on the other planet, their gravity would suck them back to their planet.
Oh.
And so he like had to come up with all these weird contraptions or uh chemical things that would make his density be the same types of density that would be attracted to their planet so that he could be over on that planet and he could win this girl's heart over. Like
Yeah.
it like we're talking about a
It,
really
it,
high concept sci-fi movie where like this dude basically had lead weights in his clothes that had to be from metals from another planet, and then like sometimes he would forget and then he'd end up on the ceiling on their world because he's being drawn back to his world. Like it,
it sounds interesting.
yeah, it's really interesting, but you cannot find that movie anywhere on online. Like I don't know what happened to it. Like I don't know whether it lost like some sort of copyright thing or something. But
Yeah.
like I mean, we're talking a movie that starred Kirsten Dunst and that one British guy who does a lot of romantic movies.
The
I
guy that
forget.
does the thing.
Yeah, but it was like you can't find that movie anywhere, and I don't know what happened to it. I know it's not on my iTunes anymore, and I've tried to Google it to find out what happened to it, but like you literally cannot find that movie anywhere
What
online.
was it called again?
It's called Upside Down.
Upside Down.
Yeah, it's crazy. I don't know what happened to it.
From 2012?
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yep, that's it.
Yep.
It's on Amazon.
Oh, it is? Huh.
Mhm.
Well, I don't know. Maybe they bought the rights to it or something.
Yeah, they could have.
It
Yeah,
that
Kirsten Dunst,
yeah.
Jim
Jim
Sturgis?
Sturgis, right?
Sturgis?
Yeah.
Is that him?
Yeah. Yeah, that's the
Adam
one.
Kirk was his name in the video or in the movie.
Yeah, I mean, I don't remember the names of the characters.
Wasn't that good?
Yeah. Anyways, what the hell was our point with all this? We're talking about shit disappearing from our
Well,
digital
yeah.
libraries.
Squirrel.
That's good. Basically that. Epic Games. They have an Epic Games store. It's now out now, I guess. But their big thing, and the thing that I think might kick Valve's Steam store in the ass, is that they are sharing 88% revenue share with the developers. So that's way more than I think. What's the current share on Steam? I want to say it's
I want to say it's like 30.
yeah, it's not high.
Yeah.
But I mean that's
See, but,
even more than the 60-40 split Apple does with all of their developers when it's on the App Store. Like 80%, that's
is it 60/40? I thought Apple took more than that.
no, it's 60-40.
Oh, okay.
I know this because it's the same deal for my book, which is available right now on Amazon, Kindle, and iTunes iBookstore. It's 60-40. I know. I signed the contract.
But Epic is in kind of a unique place because of how popular Fortnite is. They were making what was it, 300 million a month off of Fortnite? Back in April?
Sure. Yeah, I mean I
think is what it was.
That was a while ago. I mean, I don't know. We've mentioned it on the podcast at least once a month that their numbers were growing exponentially. I know I read an article just last week that they popped 200 million concurrent players, which is just astronomical. But I have a story in live section that'll actually tie into this and V-Bucks, and I think you'll start to get a better picture on why Fortnite is dominating when us older gamers. Like, I got nothing against Fortnite. I played a lot of Fortnite. I just haven't played a lot of Fortnite in the last couple of months. And I know they've done some pretty drastic changes. Like, there's crazy new modes and all sorts of stuff.
I actually just deleted Fortnite off my PlayStation 2 weeks ago, I think is what it was.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. I haven't played it since season 4, maybe.
Yeah, I stopped in season 5. Totally missed season 6. I maybe played it like once or twice. I know I played it a couple times when the Switch version came out, just to see, how it was.
I have played it on mobile.
Me too. I still have it on mobile because every once in a while.
My kids, my oldest daughter, she's 7. She likes to play Fortnite on my Xbox.
Nice.
But by playing Fortnite, what I mean is she likes to go into the playground and mess around for 45 minutes or whatever.
Well, then let's dovetail right into the Game Awards announcement, because one of the big things was they just announced a brand new mode called Creative, where basically they give you 4 tiny islands, they said, and you have the entire build set that Epics themselves use, and you can create whatever the hell you want, kind of like a Minecraft creative mode.
Right.
And then, if it's cool enough, there's now a new spot that destroyed an old spot on the Fortnite map that destroyed the movie theater area, where Epic will feature your creative area like in the game for people to play and destroy. Which sounds
I didn't realize it was going to
cool.
get featured in the game like that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's pretty neat. I don't know how it's curated or anything like that. I assume you probably have to hit like an upload button or something.
Yeah.
I would imagine it'd be something like that. And then some poor soul has to load up everybody's, you got 200 million concurrent players. Some poor soul, or many souls, have to go through these things. And they're like, okay, phallic, dick, terrible, and they're just, that's their job now.
penis.
Like, okay, penis and balls, penis and vagina. Like, that's just all it'll be, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's actually really cool. And considering that they, I think honestly, Epic has to kind of be commendable for, like, I've always loved Epic. I've played most of Epic's games that they've made over since they've been around. And I think the way that they've captured sort of the zeitgeist of their own momentum is really commendable, because I can't think of too many games that is adding and drastically changing their game on a weekly basis to keep things fresh. So
no, not too many come to mind. Yeah. But so what I started to say earlier was Epic was in the unique place, though, because they were making so much money with Fortnite that they can offer to do something like this. Well, and they'll probably still make a killing.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And then not only that, but they had that creator code a while back that went live, where you put a code in whenever you buy V-Bucks or a skin or whatever, and a certain amount goes to the content creator, whatever you put in. So they're really giving back quite a bit.
And I think, honestly, the reason that they can and are and want to do that is because they have been developers forever. And I'm sure, being in the unique position that they also create the Unreal Engine that, 60% of all games use.
Yeah.
Like, they're in a unique position to know and do exactly what gamers and developers want and need. And so now they've kind of become your one-stop shop, right? Like, so it's like, hey, get the best engine in the video game industry, arguably, obviously.
Right.
And hey, while you're at it, spend some V-Bucks, play some Fortnite, and oh yeah, why don't you also sell your game with us too?
Yeah.
Like, that's pretty powerful, So I don't know. More kudos to them and their future successes, because I've never had a problem with Epic. And if there's one thing Epic's been really good at, it's like, and I think it is because they do make the game engine that everybody uses. Like, their turnaround time for like patches and even in other video games, they're just on it.
Yeah.
So
Well, you see, I think some of that, especially with the PlayStation and the Xbox, I think the beta title that Fortnite still has
yeah,
helps
that's
a
the other
lot.
thing. Isn't that insane? It still has early access slapped on it.
Yeah, yeah. And
Like,
I think that's just so they can bypass that quality assurance check that Xbox and PlayStation have,
yeah,
so they can get these patches out the same day as the PC patches
yeah,
whenever
yeah.
they want them.
Well, and then the other thing too is that allows them to bypass uh, Xbox Live Gold and PlayStation Network subscription and Nintendo Online subscription. Because I don't know if you knew this, but Fortnite doesn't require that.
I did not.
So there's a rule in all of the big three companies that if your game is a free to play title or an early access, which Fortnite is both still
Hmm.
somehow, uh, they are not going to gank you for the subscription fee for online.
Hmm.
Which,
I did not know that.
if you think about it, they've kind of been operating in a little bit of a loophole for 200 million concurrent subscribers.
Hmm. That's yeah.
So,
You got to wonder if PlayStation and them are going to come on knocking, be like, hey, you owe us a little more here.
I mean, I could see them doing that, but at the same time, though, whatever their revenue split is, probably 60-40 of the V-Bucks goes to each respective company.
Yeah,
So, because that was the
true.
whole big thing a couple months ago when they finally announced that Fortnite is the first game to be completely cross-play with Switch, iOS, Android, PC, Mac, Xbox, and PlayStation 4. Um, was
Did
how
they
the
finally get that all worked out? I hadn't heard
yeah,
that.
yeah, no, it's been live for since late October, I want to say.
Oh wow.
Yep.
Last I heard, it was they were on a beta trial with PS4 and Xbox.
So not it's just PS4. So PS4 is the only game right now that is fully completely cross-play with everything. Because the way Sony spun it, because it's Sony, is they are going to try it in a limited capacity as a beta to see
Yes.
how it'll work. And they chose Fortnite because they thought it was a good fit. Hashtag read between the lines. Fortnite has a bazillion goddamn players, and we want to keep them happy.
And it was already available.
Yeah,
Like that
yeah,
we there was
because
videos two
yeah,
years ago of
yep,
Xbox and PS4 cross playing.
yeah, and that goes back to a whole conversation I think me and Mike and others had, a couple months ago of like Epic Games make Unreal Engine. Unreal Engine, by its very nature, is the most cross-platform, cross-compatible thing for video games in existence because it's designed to work on all the systems.
Yeah.
And obviously from 2 years ago from the leak, they'd obviously designed the netcode to also be cross-compatible between all the systems. So, you know, things and stuff. All right, well, let's dig into this Game Awards here because I feel like we could vamp on those few things alone. So there's I'm just gonna go through the list quickly, and we'll kind of touch on the ones that stand out a lot.
Okay.
So there's a cool and the Undressed game called Sayonara Wild Hearts coming to Switch. There's a interesting survival game called Journey to the Savage Planet that's coming in 2019. The Stanley Parable, both its original and remastered, and its remastered, are coming to consoles in 2019. That's personally a favorite game of mine. I've played all the versions, so that's pretty awesome that console people will be able to play it. Among Trees is a promising, colorful survival sandbox game. They broke gaming history at the Game Awards a couple nights ago, where they had the presidents of Nintendo and Sony and Microsoft of America, respectively. They were all on stage sharing the spotlight, and they held hands and talked about how gamers being unified together are stronger than when they're torn apart. They didn't announce anything, but for my vote, I would say that was like, hey, we're definitely all doing crossplay together. Like, that's what it sounded like to me, because I've never seen them all on stage at once.
Yeah, I don't think I
So
ever have either.
it was pretty impressive. So that was cool. This surprised the shit out of me when I watched the Game Awards, but Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3 was not only revealed, but they revealed that it's exclusively coming to the Switch, which is a big surprise.
Yeah.
One of the original creators of the Assassin's Creed franchise revealed this game called Ancestors: The Humankind Odyssey, which looks janky, and it looks basically like you play as a like proto-human all the way to humanoid form, like some kind of tribal spore maxis actiony thingamajig. I don't know how else to describe it. Supergiant Games revealed their brand new game. They're the creators of Bastion and Transistor. And there was a weird card game thing they did a while ago too, but I don't remember the name of it. Apologize for them. My throat is dry as fuck for some reason. Hang on. Vamp for a minute there, Burningwing. I'm gonna drink something.
So, the Hades, I hadn't really heard anything too much about it. Is it more of a it kind of looks like a Dead Cell, maybe to a point?
Not so much.
No,
Are you familiar with any of their previous games, Transistor or Bastion?
no.
So basically, imagine top-down, beautifully hand-drawn, like world and environments and stuff in kind of like a Diablo perspective.
Uh-huh.
And Bastion was kind of like a story-driven but puzzly Diablo. And then Transistor was the same perspective, but it swapped that out for like a turn-based tactical combat. And this
Okay.
looks like if Diablo took place in Greek mythology with the color palette of like Day of the Dead and like Hispanic flair, which is an interesting combination when you put those two together. So it's Greek
Yeah.
mythology because you're literally playing as Hades, a Greek god. The gameplay looks really like a more action-packed Diablo kind of thing, and it has like a really beautiful art style. So it's Greek mythology, but the art style is like really, really vibrant. Like there's like lots of purples and
It
yellows, that kind of color
almost
aesthetic.
reminds me of like a Samurai Jack type of art style.
Oh
I don't know if
yeah, that's
I don't know
actually
if you
not too
remember.
bad. That's a decent comparison. Yeah, kind of Samurai Jack in terms of its color palette.
Mm-hmm.
So that there's something to look forward to there. I want to say that was one of the games that they said was exclusively already out in early access on Epic Game Store.
It launched that night.
Yeah, at least on PC. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Um, man, it just felt like rubbing salt in the really deeply open wound. So Far Cry announced a brand new game called New Dawn, and it's basically Far Cry Fallout.
Yeah.
It is Far Cry Fallout mixed with Mad Max and some of the zaniness of Borderlands. Like, there's actually memes going around the internet right now that is like, oh, here's a picture of the new Rage 2. Oh, no, wait, that's Borderlands 2. Oh, wait, no, wait, that's Far Cry New Dawn. Wait, no, it's Rage 2. Wait, it's Borderlands. Wait, I think it's New Dawn? Because they all look interchangeable, unfortunately. The difference, though, and I feel like I'm one of the few people who caught this, is yeah, it's Far Cry. Yeah, it's open world. Yes, Far Cry has gotten proceedingly more RPG like. And it looks like, unfortunately, it looks like the Far Cry has out 76'd Fallout in terms of their multiplayer component. But the couple of big things that I saw from the trailer, like it looked like there's like a lot of like RPG systems as well, like more so than before. But the big thing, and I feel everybody kept quiet about this, is that this Far Cry New Dawn is being developed by Ubisoft Montreal. Now, if you don't know what that
Oh,
means, gamers, Ubisoft Montreal is like the quadruple A team of Ubisoft. They're the creators of Assassin's Creed, Splinter Cell. They did the Rainbow Sixes. They did like all of the biggest, highest hitting franchises, and they haven't made a game in a while. So they've probably been working on this for quite a while, I would imagine. So all I'm saying is look out 2019, and it's early 2019 too. It's like
February.
just like
February
February.
15th.
Yeah,
Yep.
February
And
15th. Like, oof.
it's only going to be $40 too.
Yeah, that's interesting. It's very interesting. So I wouldn't be surprised if that knocks some teeth out of some of these bigger guys who are doing similar things. Especially since nobody knew it was coming. Like, I mean, if you'd asked me a month ago, like, hey, so let's see, they've done crazy 80s sci-fi, they've done tropical islands to death, they've done Africa, they've done, Himalayan mountains, they did America. Where do you want to see Far Cry go next? Oh, and then they also did prehistoric times. So, and if you'd said, yeah, they're going to do a Fallout game, basically.
So, did you ever play the original Fallout or Far Cry?
Actually, I'm a big Far Cry fan. I played the original on PC. I played the Xbox version of it, which was called the same thing, but was totally different because you turn into a goddamn dinosaur at the end of the game.
So that's that's the one I'm talking about. That's the
Yeah.
only one I've actually played through.
Oh,
And
okay.
every time I hear Far Cry, I think of that game. And to me, that game was fun. It was a lot of fun. But I'm like, they just like took this game and went far left. But maybe from the sounds of it, it may not have been quite the
So
far off as I'm
here's the
thinking.
rundown on Far Cry. So the very first Far Cry on PC was you had you're like a contract killer, and you basically parachuted onto one like giant island, and you could go anywhere in the island, and you had to take out like it was like 6 or 8 bad drug cartel dudes. That was it. But people loved it because it was back in the day, it was, open world first person shooter where you assassinate people. And they're like, oh, this is something new and different. And it took place in a very lush tropical setting. Um, then they brought it to consoles, and it was a linear, level based, story based first person shooter where again, the end of the fucking game, you turn into a human velociraptor. I'm not making that up. Look up a
No.
video. Far Cry Instincts, I think, was what they called it when they brought it to consoles. And then they had an expansion called Predator,
Mhm.
where you basically went to Jurassic Park and fought more dinosaurs. And then they did Far Cry 2, which was a huge left turn. Far Cry 2 was open world story based RPG that had stuff like burning down forests, and you had like to keep up on malaria pills or you would die of malaria, and your weapons broke. I think there's a joke running around because Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild has weapons that degrade over time and break. And some people who played Far Cry 2 were like, hey, Far Cry 2 says hello. But Far Cry 2 was one of those things where it was more ambitious than they could chew. Like
Yeah.
it was janky. They tried to do some things in the story that were plot twisty and M. Night Shyamalan-y. It had all of these systems like, you could start a brush fire that would spread to a tree that you could then burn down a village. It had interesting things like that, but none of it was. A lot of people hate me because there's a lot of people out there who still think Far Cry 2 is the best Far Cry game ever made. It was just janky. It was one of those things where it was like, let's throw everything into the pot and like only bake every feature about 70% kind of thing. And then the thing that took Far Cry from an interesting little side project for Ubisoft to a mega franchise was Far Cry 3. And they actually took some of the smarter elements from 2. They mixed it in with a pretty good story, a very memorable villain, and they also stole like so much elements from Skyrim, actually. Because the joke on the internet on that one is like, oh yeah, it's Far Cry, but also Skyrim. It's Skyrim Cry. And Far Cry 3 is super, super good. Like I have very fond memories of Far Cry 3. And it was also, unfortunately, and for better or for worse, one of the few games that super popularized this thing that's in a lot of open world games where there's a base and you got to go there and kill a bunch of dudes and fight a boss and rescue or do some mission objective, like base clearing type gameplay. That's what Far Cry like really pioneered, and then it made its way to every other Ubisoft game, and it's even all the way into this year's 2018 Spider-Man game. There's bases to clear.
Oh.
You know?
Yeah.
And then they took... Basically, they did the same exact kind of game in Far Cry 4. They just set it in a mountain range.
Yeah, well, in Far Cry 4, wasn't that the one where you could wait 15 minutes and you beat the game?
You know, I'm not sure.
I'm pretty sure it was 4. Like, it tells you, like, the very first mission is you gotta go to a bar and wait for a dude to show up.
Huh.
And if you leave, you go into the game. If you wait there, I think it's for 15 minutes, the guy will show up and the game ends.
Huh. Yeah, I don't remember that. I only played Far Cry 4 in co-op. So, like, I played it with a buddy of mine, and like I would just spawn in on some mountain range and like paraglide down. I'm like, I don't know what the hell is going on. And he's like, oh, I need you to help me shoot these dudes who are chasing me. And I was like, okay. But from a mechanics and like the way the world was built, it was Far Cry 3 again, like just in a mountain range instead of islands. And then they took another left turn and they did Far Cry Primal, which a lot of people said was pretty good. I didn't play it personally, because I guess a big criticism was they basically reused the map from Far Cry 4 and just like prehistoriced it up or something. And then I have not played Far Cry 5 at all, but everybody says it was a more return to form, but they kind of knocked it for being, it's basically a countryside game. And then, of course, the whole thing that it's Americano, takes place in a fictional town in Colorado. That it's like...
Is it Colorado or Wyoming?
It's like Colorado, Wyoming, Montana. I mean, it's fictional, so it's Col-Wytana. I don't know. I'm making that up. Don't quote me.
Oh, no, it's going down. Quote right there.
And I've heard various things. I've heard they want to, some people don't like that it doesn't take place on an island. I've heard that the hits too close to home American Kano thing, it doesn't really resonate with people. But I've also heard the reverse. I've heard that they love it because of the Americano and like that sort of thing. So, yeah. And so now it's post-apocalyptic. Where's Far Cry gonna go next? I don't know. Pirate unicorns? Sure.
My guess is space, because that
God,
appears to be what everyone's doing.
Yeah, I'm down with space. I'm a space guy. Let's go.
I'd like to see more under the ocean stuff, like Subnautica. That's a game I would really like to try sometime.
I've heard very mixed things about Subnautica, but in the same thing though, No Man's Sky has gotten very Subnautica-y. They had a huge update back in October.
Yeah, that update. Actually, it was just a recent update. It was
October.
Well, I thought it was before or since October that they did the underwater.
So, No Man's Sky, since their huge big update in August, has had 3 giant expansions.
Oh, good Lord!
Yeah, it's a thing. I was talking. But
anyways,
about,
whenever I found out they had the whole underwater exploration part, I was like, I'm gonna have to go pick that up now.
Yeah, it's the underwater stuff is really legit. I finally got into it. I was actually talking about it, I think, in last week's show, but it's very expansive. Like, it's it's very interesting. Like, so before the update, basically, like, you'd go in an ocean and it might look kind of underwatery. It might be some seaweed and like some fishes floating around. But there's nothing to do underwater in No Man's Sky. It was just like, okay, there's an ocean.
It was there.
I have to cross it now because I ran out of fuel or something. You know what I mean? And then now, like, you put your head underwater, and I swear the Jurassic Park theme starts playing, and there's like fucking fishes eating other fishes. There's like clams. There's like there's like 100 different new resources. You can build underwater bases. You have to manage your fucking salt and O2 intake. You know, you build a fucking submarine. There's these thing called abyssal horrors, which
Mhm.
like look like rocks but then turn into like these vicious monsters that try to eat you, and they scare the shit out of you because you're like, oh, I'm gonna go over here. Oh, look at all these things. Oh, there's jellyfish, they're swimming around. Oh, that's cool. Oh, fishes eating each other, that's neat. Oh, hey, there's a rock, I'm gonna go mine the rock. Oh my god, it's eating my face. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's ridiculous. it it's like one of those things, like I don't know how to compare it to any other thing. It's be like if you were playing a game and like like there was a puddle, and then like maybe you put your face below the puddle and like, oh, there's nothing down there, and then like there's still the same puddle, like it's the same size, but you put your face down and it looks like some James Cameron underwater documentary
Yeah.
thing. And you're just like, holy shit. So anyway, but I'm a No Man's Sky fan, and I will always pimp it. So there you go. Surprising a ton of people, Crash Team Racing Remaster is coming to modern consoles in June of next year. I never played Crash Team Racing, but
Yeah.
I've heard, at least back in the PlayStation 1 era, that they carted Mario Kart.
I want to say I had like a demo disc with Crash Team Racing on it,
Oh
and
yeah.
it was very Mario Kart E,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't remember. I think it was only one level, so I didn't have a whole lot with it. But
I gotcha.
it was back, if you remember, back in the day when you actually got demos of games.
Oh
Not the
yes. Oh yes.
not what we do now.
I'm a bit older gamer. I still have I have like a closet full of official Xbox magazine demo discs and stuff. And I probably have a few PlayStation ones, but I didn't get a PlayStation 1 until I had a PlayStation. No, I had a PlayStation 1 before PlayStation. I had a PS1. God. Yeah, I had a PS1 before. No, I had a PS1 in 2004. So I was real late to the party.
Yeah, it was PS2 days.
Yeah, I know. um
Actually, was that the
hmm?
3 maybe? Or did 3 come out in 06?
It was 06 for the 3.
Okay.
Yeah. Um there's a winter sci-fi cooperative survival shooter called Scavengers that had a trailer. That's actually very interesting because it's being worked on by a brand new studio here in Seattle, actually. Joss Holmes, who is the creative director of Halo 4. And he's got a lot of the old Halo and Bungie team members working on this game. Um, the trailer makes it look kind of generic, but it could potentially be one of those like sleeper super great games. I'm not sure. We'll find out next year. Dead by Daylight, which is a game that I actually play a lot of with my friends, is bringing a brand new character or a brand new villain to play called Legion. A new survival character and a brand new map set in the frozen Yukons of Canada. Uh, it doesn't show too much about the killer, but like they had a CGI trailer. And are you familiar with Dead by Daylight? There,
Just a little bit. I've seen it played a time or two, but that's about it.
yeah. I mean, basically, you play as either 4 survivors, and you're trying to get some materials together to start some generators to escape. Basically, a PvP map from a killer, which can be anybody from axe murderer to some famous killers like Jason and Michael Myers or the pig from Saw. And
God.
it's 4, or it's 1v4 would be the dynamic because the humans can't really fight back, and they basically have to run and evade and escape. And there's actually a lot of RPG mechanics and skill trees and stuff to do in it. But the killer, this is kind of the rumor because again we got a CGI trailer and not a gameplay thing, is that the trailer showed 2 people running through the woods from what we assumed was a killer, and they like hide in like a snowy cabin behind a log, and they're like, oh, I'm glad we escaped. And then one dude goes to look up like at the window to see if the killer is still following them, and then the camera pans back, and the dude next to him is the killer, and then he gets ganked, and it's like, oh, so maybe this new character Legion will allow you to be or look like a survivor, and then you turn into a killer, because that would be
Maybe.
rad as fuck. Um, there's a game that I guess has been out for a year now on PC called Dauntless, which I
Hmm.
guess is kind of Monster Hunter-y. And it's hitting Switch, Xbox One, PS4, and mobile next year.
So I guess the mechanics
Mm-hmm.
are very Monster Hunter-y ish,
Mm-hmm.
but that's about all I think it has in common. I've seen it played and whatnot. It looks fun. You go on hunts, kind of like Monster Hunter World. You break pieces off, make stuff out of them. But other than that, I haven't seen too much other than that. But
Yeah,
I'm kind of excited for this because it looks like something that might just be a good, you know, hop on, turn your brain off, and do it.
yeah. I mean, I'm always in the mood for something that's like that. I know for myself with my group of gamers that I play with online, we tend to gravitate towards those things where we can play for a few rounds and then be done, and maybe move on to a different game. So yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I guess it's been out for a while. I don't. I mean, I've never seen it actually played, so I don't know. I'm just
It
reading
was
an article. It says Monster
yeah,
Hunter esque, so that's what it is, I
it
guess.
it it was big with Guardian Con this year. They
Really?
teamed up. They had a partnership with Guardian Con this year,
Oh, that's cool.
and they so you shoot a flare up to signal people to come get this monster or whatever,
Okay.
and it was a Guardian Con emblem,
Hmm.
the big G. It was that on it and whatnot, and Saint Jude I think was another one
Cool.
that they had, and they did a bunch of streams for it and whatnot. It's pretty cool.
Neat. So another big surprise, or at least it was really surprising to me, was there's this beautiful sort of Pixar-y looking adventure where I described it as you're playing like it's an artistic looking game. You're playing a Jawa from Star Wars if your 4-year-old kid made it. And it looks kind of like a 2D adventure puzzler, it looked like. But it looks absolutely gorgeous. And it's billed as a Hello Games short. And Hello Games is the developer of No Man's Sky, and the game is called The Last Campfire, and they said it'd be out soon. And I dug some more around in this because Hello Games is something I like to talk about because they're awesome. Apparently, The Last Campfire is made by 2 people from the ground up, code, art, music, like the whole 9 yards. And the reason they called it a Hello Games short is they said they wanted to do a game that was like a Pixar short, but for video games.
Hmm.
And I thought that was an interesting
That
notion. So probably like
that
an
is.
hour or two, probably.
Yeah.
Is probably what I would imagine as far as whatever the actual game is. They didn't have a release date. They just said coming in the next couple of months. So it was interesting. I actually kind of freaked out about this one. So Obsidian Games
Oh, yeah.
announced a brand new open world first person RPG with the original creator of the Fallout series, who created Fallout 1 and 2 way back on the PC. And it's called um, The Outer Worlds. And here's how I sum it up: combine Fallout plus Borderlands plus Firefly. That's The Outer Worlds, and it looks fucking incredible.
So I keep hearing it described as Fallout New Vegas in space.
Mm. Which would probably be pretty accurate because Obsidian is the developer of Fallout New Vegas, which was a fan favorite of the most recent Fallout games. But I think it's pretty interesting because Obsidian, like last month, just got bought by Microsoft.
Yeah.
So the question, though, because I don't think they announced what it was coming to, was like, so is this an Xbox exclusive, or isn't it? Because the game looked complete, at least from the trailer. They showed all real gameplay and stuff, which looks fantastic. But
Wonder if
it's
it'll be PC and then possibly Xbox.
potentially.
Well, didn't Microsoft say all their in-studio games were going to be
just about to get to that.
both? Oh,
Yeah,
sorry.
I was just about to. You are so good, good sir. You are on it. You're on it like a burning wing on the steel horse you ride.
Yep. Wanted.
Yep, dead or alive. We can't say that too much for copyright reasons. But yeah, so Obsidian is now fully owned by Microsoft. They are what's considered a second-party studio where they retain their name and their IPs, but they're owned by Microsoft wholly, kind of like Bungie back before they bought themselves out. But they did say when they purchased them that all of their current in-development games would release on whatever it was they had intended. Because they had a couple of other games in development too, some PS4 games, and I think they had a Switch game too. They had a whole mess of games. So I wonder if this will still be multi-platform, potentially.
Well, so I remember hearing a while back, though, that Microsoft was making it to where if you were making a game for PC, it had to be compatible with Xbox as well. If you were owned by them.
Sounds probably accurate.
Because that's kind of how I think it kind of started with Sea of Thieves, and then Forza, I think, does it now.
Yeah, Forza. Yeah, I think any of the Xbox first-party games
Hellblade
has to be Windows 10 compatible and Xbox One compatible. I think that is the thing. And crossplay at that, if I recall correctly, too. Because the other part of that caveat was also the Game Pass thing, right? Which they're pushing really hard.
Yeah.
So, anyway. PUBG had a trailer showing a brand new snow map that hits PCs. It's out now, which is, I think, incredibly ironic considering Fortnite, like a few days earlier, just launched their Season 7, and part of the map has been completely rejiggered to be snow. Like,
yeah.
I was like, wow, they are just riding each other's ass into the apocalypse right now. Like, it's pretty ridiculous. Something that honestly kind of blew my mind because I am a big Sea of Thieves fan. A brand new game from the team who made Ark Survival Evolved, which is a game that I am not a fan of, but I have many friends who are like, dude, you gotta get into it. It's super good. And I'm like, no, I played the beta. It's not what I want in life.
Yeah, I got a friend of mine. He keeps trying to get us to get Ark all the time.
I mean, it obviously has a fan base because I think it's coming to Switch or is on Switch or something now as well.
Possibly, I'm not sure.
Things. But anyway, they announced a brand new game. And I actually saw this trailer, and it was all gameplay, which was also surprising. And I saw basically Sea of Thieves gameplay, but then dragons came in, and kingdoms got stormed, and like fantasy ghost ships attacking from the sea, like Medusas. Like, it looked absolutely bonkers in the best possible way. But it's a brand new game from the Ark team called Atlas. They said they've been working on it in secret for like several years now.
Man, you are not lying. That is Sea of Thieves. Holy cow.
Right? It's Sea of Thieves, but bonkers.
Yeah.
They've officially announced it as a gigantic survival MMO, is what they're calling it. And I was like, oh. And then
supposedly 1,200 times the size of an Ark server.
Yeah. I don't know how big an Ark server is, but 1,200 times the size of anything. That's...
it says 40,000 concurrent players is what it can do.
Jeez.
That is ridiculous.
Okay, sure. Sounds bonkers.
Mm-hmm.
And then asked at the Game Awards, PC first, and then they said, we'll see about consoles next.
I don't know. This game might have to come out next gen the way it's looking.
It looks insane. I like
Yeah.
that trailer. Definitely makes me want to play it though. Like it looks
Yeah,
awesome.
that
like
is for sure.
like and the fact that it's a gameplay trailer too, that just man, the game looks insane. But I mean, the game looks insane in that kind of way you want to play it, but it's probably playing on, a PC supercomputer rig.
Yeah, it was on an RTX
Yeah.
series, so it's probably all decked out with everything.
Yeah, indeed. I am really excited for this game. They had a world premiere of a brand new project from the dev team that made Abzu, which I think was a free PS Plus game earlier in the year, and it's out on Xbox and Switch nowadays. I
Yeah,
never played Abzu, but it's like a sea exploring
yeah. So
game,
that
I
was one I
guess.
kept thinking about getting, and I just never did pick it up. Even when it was free for PlayStation, I never did pick it up.
Mm,
But I probably should have.
yeah. I mean, I have it sitting probably downloaded on my PlayStation because I make a point to always get the freebie games, whether I'm interested in it or not. Because hey, free is free. Um, but this Pathless game, man, um, I it had me gripped from the moment it started onwards. I would describe it as a very simplistic anime art style, kind of in the spirit of Princess Mononoke, but you're playing like this girl who's in like a red hood and she's shooting arrows and she's taking down like giant fire monsters, kind of Shadow of the Colossus style. But the
Hmm.
big kicker for me was you move incredibly fast. Like I watched a gameplay sequence where she was running through a forest and she was kind of like run bounding, and
Yeah,
she would run and she would bound up into the air like the freaking Incredible Hulk, and then you would just be like shooting arrows in the sky like Matrix dodge style, but hyper fast, like through the forest and flipping on trees. um and then they showed some other parts of the world, and the world looks like it takes place inside of a sphere, because you look up and there's like a volcanic mountain above you, and it's like drizzling lava down,
yeah.
like lava fire rain down on you, and it looks incredible. It's coming exclusively to PlayStation next spring/summer. So
No, it's not exclusive. It's coming to the Epic Store as well.
oh really? Okay,
Hmm.
so console exclusive PS4 then.
Yeah.
Okay, good to know. Good to know. Good to know. Yeah, I I mean, I don't know. I'm hyped for it because it looks cool and it seems like my kind of thing. So just saying. Wizards of the Coast threw their hat into the ring, and they're gonna go big next year with their Magic Arena card game. Who is doing a huge esports push? So they're adding leagues, and they're having like, was it $10,000 in tournament prizes and stuff next year. So you're into the digital version of Magic Arena, go for it. It looked good. They showed some gameplay, and it looks like basically like a jacked up Hearthstone. So there you go. There you go. BioWare had a teaser at the Game Awards, which I watched it live. It was not apparent to me that it was Dragon Age. I thought it was, but they didn't say. So I was like, okay, a new property? But then every single trailer online lists it as Dragon Age 4, The Dread Wolf Rises. Um, Nothing really to say other than the name. It was a CGI teaser of like some skulls mashed together and like blood dripping down it. So that's the thing. That's the thing.
Okay.
There's a brand new trailer for Psychonauts 2. I never played the first one. I feel kind of bad about it because I actually really like Double Fine games. Like I like their particular brand of humor. Everybody always said it was like one of the best Mario 64 style platformers ever made. And it was like super funny too, apparently. Um, but I actually did a double take on this trailer because the very day the Game Awards showed this, because it listed Double Fine and Starbreeze Studios as the developer. And the reason I did a double take there Burningwing is because just hours before, I had read an article that basically all but 4 employees of Starbreeze had been laid off.
Oh.
So I was like, wait, what? When that trailer came up, I was like, yeah, Double Fine. And, did the little black fade to a different developer. And it said Starbreeze. And I went, wait, what? Didn't they all just get fired? Who's at Starbreeze anymore?
That one guy.
Yeah, which kind of saddens me because I have a little special place in my heart for Starbreeze. Because Starbreeze did the way, 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 way ahead of its time and fantastic Chronicles of Riddick Escape from Butcher Bay back on the original Xbox and PC. Which was,
I remember playing that.
Oh, it was a fantastic game back in the day. Way ahead of its time. I would say too far ahead of its time because when they remastered it, it wasn't good anymore. That's how good it was. And then they went and did the Darkness games, which I actually liked. Say what you will about them. I had fun. And then I don't know. I think they've been struggling ever since to capture the magic. So on the one hand, it's sad to see the studio is essentially dead, but so it goes. Making me feel super old. Mortal Kombat 11 was announced. It's coming out in April. And I was like, oh yeah, it's Mortal Kombat. Oh, that's brutal. Oh, brutality. Cool kings. And it's like Mortal Kombat 11. And I was like, holy shit. There's been 11 of them?
Yeah.
I am old now. Shit.
It's official.
Yeah. Oh, man. They revealed a Stranger Things video game that's based on season 3, and it looks like a cute little 16-bit Diablo kind of brawler thing. Looked kind of fun.
It's kind of.
Yeah, I mean, do you like Stranger Things?
Yes, I do actually. I was kind of late to watch it. Like I waited till way after season 2 had come out.
Oh, that's fine.
That'll
make your wait for season 3 a
but...
little more bearable, since we've had no season 3 this year.
Yeah, I think it comes out next year, doesn't it?
Yeah, they wanted to take an extra year because they're gonna jump a little more forward in time, and they have kid actors.
Yeah, exactly.
So, but yeah, I'm interested in their 16-bit game only because it's done by the same team who did. They actually had an 8-bit RPG game. It's on phones. I think it's even free too, for that matter. You all can check that out. It plays like a little like Final Fantasy 1 or 2. It's kind of cute. Speaking back to Bethesda and id, Rage 2 launches on May 14th, 2019. And the trailer they showed off, I gotta say, does make it look pretty expansive and impressive. I was talking this over with a buddy of mine, and he was like, why does anybody want this game? And I pointed out to him that it's like, well, it's basically merging Doom shooting, which is amazing, with an open world Mad Max type of thing. And the thing to not sleep on that game, regardless of how you feel about the first one, which was interesting, to say the least, the open world parts of the game are actually being done by Avalanche Studios, who is the Just Cause developers. And fun fact about those developers that everybody seems to forget, they actually pitch hit and helped Nintendo with the game engine for Zelda Breath of the Wild.
Oh, really?
Yes. Because the Just Cause devs, they have a really weird. So they're in Brazil or someplace like that. There's someplace in South America, but they're owned by Square Enix. But they're being allowed to do an id game, but they also did a thing for Nintendo. I don't really know how that all works. But yeah. Rage 2, May 14th. It looks good. We'll see if it's a nice holdover between Borderlands 2 and 3. We shall see. Surprising everybody, considering the Game Awards took place at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, which meant there was 3 hours until Super Smash Bros. Ultimate released. And they announced one of their DLC characters, surprising everybody because, as we talked about last week, the Darknet got a hold of a full, complete copy of Super Smash Bros. Ultimate and leaked everything. So the fact that there wasn't any like code evidence that the DLC character exists was quite surprising. So I don't know if this is the main character or not because I have not played it, but Persona 5's Joker is going to be an official playable character in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate in 2019. And that's what I got for the Game Awards. I know for us personally, we both tried and failed to get into the Anthem private alpha.
Yeah. That shitstorm.
Yeah. So why don't you tell me a little bit about what you're looking forward to in alpha or in Anthem, because you're one of the few people I know besides my girlfriend who's actually excited for it.
Basically, it looks like to me it looks like a mixture of Division and Destiny.
I was literally thinking the same thing this morning before we did the show.
and then and then it looks like from what I have seen, looks like the skills that you can put on your suit and everything, like that kind of reminds me of like is it Armored Core, I believe is what it was.
Yeah, I would say it's a little Armored Core-y.
And I always liked the Armored Core, but when I was trying to play them, I just wasn't able to grasp how to play them. So I always get my ass
they're
kicked.
deep and they probably don't have the best of menus.
Yeah, and so they piss me off more than anything. But this looks like it might be a little more fleshed out, a little easier to do. And then you get to fly around like Iron Man. Who doesn't want to do that?
Apparently, Mike List.
Well, I think we can all agree he's Destiny only.
Yeah.
I can't blame him, but
oh yeah. Yeah, doesn't like driving, doesn't like flying. I was like, what do you like, Mike?
Oh, he doesn't like driving, does he?
No, he does not.
That's right. I forgot all about that.
Yeah, he doesn't do the sparrows in Destiny.
Yeah. That guy.
I'm just like, man, I like some variety, man. And flying done right can be amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, I think you're one of the few people who agrees with me in our Fork fam.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
sure.
You're showing me the stuff for Ace Combat, which I think is probably the only goddamn flying game coming out this generation.
It is. Well, it's to me, everything else except for Ace Combat has been crap. Hawk was okay.
Oh, dude, speaking of flying,
but
I don't know how current you are on listening to the actual Fork episodes, but do not sleep on Starlink Battle for Atlas. It is the best flight combat game I've played in a long time.
But there's one problem with that.
Yeah.
Isn't it only on Switch?
No, it's on all consoles.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. The Switch just happens to have like an exclusive 6-hour mission and Star Fox in it.
Oh, okay.
For obvious reasons, because it's on Nintendo. But yeah, no, it's on Xbox, PS4. I think it's even on PC.
Okay.
It's an Ubisoft game. Of course it's on everything. But yeah, no. Do you enjoy like arcade style shooting and Star Fox and stuff like that?
Yeah.
Okay, sweet. Did you ever play Crimson Skies?
Crimson Skies.
Original Xbox?
Oh, that sounds familiar, but I don't remember it.
It's like a period piece alternate history, and you played
like World War II stuff.
I mean, it was like an alternate history thing. So they were World War II-ish in terms of the plane designs.
Yeah.
They had like machine guns mounted on them and stuff, and rockets.
That's not ringing any bells.
Okay. I was trying to think of another comparison. Do you ever play Warhawk or Starhawk?
I played Warhawk once, I think.
Okay.
Right after it came out.
So think more arcadey like that.
Okay.
But like in a good way, and with a vast, deep RPG system as well. Yeah, I'm a big fan. It's one of my surprise hits of the year, in my opinion. Like I really hope it did well financially, so we get a sequel. But yeah, no, flying games, Starlink, best and probably only one this year.
Yeah,
gets its own game award, best flight game, Starlink. Why? Because it's the only one.
So what exactly are you looking forward to with Anthem?
I'm definitely looking forward to flying like Iron Man. Flight for me is definitely a big thing. Like, so I'm the type of gamer who really likes mobility in video games. So for example, like I actually really enjoyed like when it's kind of an odd thing because it was kind of like a pop fad for a while where they were adding like crazy mobility options in first person shooters.
Yeah.
And
like running on walls and stuff.
Yeah, like running on walls, and Titanfall 2 is a great example of that.
Prince of Persia type stuff.
Yeah, like I'm a big fan of that kind of movement in a first person or third person setting. And I think part of the challenge with that is it's really hard to do that right and make you feel like you're in control of that stuff versus just like, oh, it's playing an animation. So I'm looking forward to being more mobile in a third person shooting setting. I'm looking forward to see how BioWare handles the kind of Destiny-esque space sci-fi cooperative shooter aspect of everything, because I think if anybody can make it feel more grounded in the actual universe, space, and canon, and can draw me into, hopefully is going to be a really good story, and make me care about the characters and care about the environments and have unique creatures and stuff, I think it's BioWare, because they've made so many worlds and universes of, characters and, whole worlds before, and even at the Game Awards, they had a little interview with Casey Hudson, who was the creative director on the Mass Effect trilogy. He said, like, hey, the reason it's taking so long is we made a whole world, a whole brand new universe from the ground up. Like, take some time to, get all the pieces together. And they actually had a little trailer at the Game Awards. I don't know if you saw it. Did you see this?
No.
Oh, you haven't seen the story trailer? Oh, goodness. Okay. So, yeah, so definitely check that out after the show.
Oh, for sure.
For sure. There's not really much to say about it other than here's what I think about it. Folks listening at home, go watch the trailer. But basically, the trailer was like a sizzle reel of cinematics, which they haven't shown before from Anthem, especially considering the game's coming out in a couple months. And essentially, it looks like there's a dude in one of these, they call them javelins in Anthem, in like a really big ass javelin. And he's trying to steal the power of these Anthem devices to rule the world, basically. So from that perspective, it seems super generic. However, I want to point something out to everybody. Every BioWare game starts off like that. And you soon learn that ain't generic at all. Saren, trying to rule the universe. Mass Effect 1. Whatever the fuck the fucking ghost guy in the fucking armor, Darth Vader guy from Jade Empire, trying to rule the world. Didn't quite turn out that way. And same goes for the bad Grey Warden guy in the first Dragon Age. They all start off that way. And you know what? It's fucking worked for BioWare. So I have faith that even though what I'm seeing is like, okay, well, that looks generic. But I thought the same goddamn thing in every fucking thing for their games. And obviously that's just it's a basic point that can get somebody interested. Like I could see a lot of people being like, oh, well, it looks like the story of Gull from Destiny 2. And it's like, okay, yeah, but it's probably not going to be that lame. Like, I'll tell you that right now, because if there's one thing that BioWare does better than anybody else, is that they fucking deliver on that story portion. So I have faith based on 3 whole video game franchises of games, probably many games apiece, that if anybody's gonna give me a kick-ass story in a kind of Destiny-ish setting, it's gonna be BioWare. And then if they don't, obviously that's gonna be a complete tragic fail, which will suck.
Well, I'm hoping Anthem's not. Like I'm getting hyped for it. I'm getting, excited for everything I see with it. But with these games having to be, I guess they don't have to be, but these games being so multiplayer nowadays, having a real strong story like that, just it seems to be hard.
And they've talked a lot about that, recently, because they've started doing dev streams now where they're playing the game leading up to launch, and that's
Yeah,
one
I've
of the
seen a
things.
couple.
Yeah, me too. And that's one of the things that they keep talking about is, the way we're approaching a story is definitely going to be different than other games because we have to deliver it to multiple players at a time. So I don't know. I'm excited to check out how they're going to handle like the Anthem stuff because like the whole thing is based around okay, our whole society has grown up scavenging parts from these Anthem devices that I guess were trying to terraform the world by these giant entities, but then they left for some reason. And everybody's technology is based on essentially alien future tech. Nobody's invented their own technology. Like something that they were trying to hit as point at home is like they don't have computers. Like they have bits and pieces of technology that they've kind of figured out how it works and how they could put it together. So I don't know. It's interesting.
Yeah.
We will see. That is for sure. But the one thing we're not going to be seeing, especially for you and me, Burningwing, is the private beta, which neither of us got into, which really actually kind of irks me.
Yeah.
Because there were signups this week. I guess they've got 2 more test runs before the year is out. I know you signed up and got an actual confirmation. I signed up, but no, I have not gotten any confirmation that I've even signed up for the thing, which pisses me off,
Really?
which makes me feel like when I submitted it, it didn't actually go through kind of thing, which is super lame. So I was like, oh, man.
Yes, I've got a couple of friends one from the Derp fan, one from the AMP Discord that have played it, and they say it's real good. In this
That's
alpha,
good.
it's real smooth, not a whole lot of issues. So
that's good. I mean, they've been working on it a while. It better be.
So suck it, Mike.
Yeah, suck it, Mike. Be flying around in our cool ass suits. By the way, I want to point. Okay, I want your input on this. So, because like Mike was like, "Oh, it's a fucking mech game. I hate mechs," and I was like, "Nah, they're getting into suits. Is Iron Man's suit a mech? Maybe only when it's fucking the Hulkbuster." Like, okay, so for you, where do you draw the line between mech and like a cool ass suit?
Well, I guess to me, I've never actually made the distinction because when I think of mech, I think of like Gundams.
Yeah, I think a mech has to be big, in my opinion.
And I never really thought of Iron Man as anything, I guess, except for just a suit of armor, like a powered armor suit. So I guess to me, a mech is something that has to be, at least 3 stories tall.
Yeah, I agree with you. I would say, Gundams, Evangelions, the Jaegers from Pacific Rim. Those are all mechs. Versus Iron Man's got a suit. And
So other than Iron Man, though, who I guess Samus would probably be in a suit.
Oh yeah, that's a good one actually. Samus, definitely, it's a powered suit. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Actually, Samus might be actually the best comparison for Anthem, to be honest. Like,
Yeah.
Samus can't really fly necessarily, but I'm a big Metroid guy, actually.
Yeah.
And in the story, it's actually ancient alien armor that she
Hmm.
finds and then like remodifies over the years, being the bounty hunter that she is.
Mm.
And it's a suit, like she gets into it, so that's not a mech. But in terms of Anthem's comparison, like these javelins they're using, like, parts of it are just old tech, essentially from an old civilization. So it's actually probably the most comparable to Anthem
Yeah,
in that respect. So there
might
you go.
be.
There you go.
I guess we'll see.
Continue to suck it,
So.
Mike. Oh man. But you were telling me, I think just last night, that they were going to do another test for
Yeah, so
Anthem.
they actually have a beta that you can enter February 1st,
Okay. And do we have to
which
pre-order the game for that?
I don't believe so. I think if you do pre-order, you get early access to the beta.
Okay.
Um, but I don't think you have to, which I'm kind of leery about pre-ordering it just because my Destiny addiction has kicked in full here recently.
Yeah.
Uh, but I think I'm gonna go ahead and bite the bullet and do it here
Okay.
soon.
Okay.
So
Well,
it'll be on Xbox.
that'll probably be the most interesting to hear in terms of your feedback from it, since you are on the Destiny 2 Forsaken Black Armory bandwagon. Um, your thoughts on how Anthem is when we finally get to it.
I think it got a bad rap when they first announced it as being a Destiny killer because Destiny was so bad at the time, and I don't think it's going to really be anything like Destiny except for maybe the shooting. And if they can get the Destiny shooting mechanics into Anthem, it'll be a pretty damn good game.
Well, I wouldn't expect them to have the same shooting mechanics, because at the end of the
No,
day, Destiny is a first-person shooter, and Anthem will be a third.
right.
And those are not necessarily comparable.
But I mean, if it has the feels, it's nice and fluid. It makes you feel like you're have more control than probably what you actually do.
Yeah,
Uh, it should be good.
yeah, yeah. I'm definitely looking forward to it. All right, how are you doing on time, good sir?
I got nothing but time.
No, okay, cool. Well, then I'm going to spin the ring for the next topic.
All right.
Oh, I guess the final note, because I did say I was going to talk about it. Super Smash Bros. Ultimate came out. I am, I'm a Smash. I'm a hardcore fucking Smash person. To my right is about, almost all of the Smash Brothers amiibos from the Wii U version. In fact, while Burningwing mentioned Samus, I'm literally holding the Samus Aran amiibo.
The question is it Zero Suit Samus or
Oh no, she's over there too. I'm holding
okay,
regular powered armored Samus,
okay,
actually.
not quite so weird.
Yeah, no. Yeah, I gotta say, it was quite an interesting Thursday, because it launched at 9 p.m., just 15 minutes after the Game Awards ended, and they had special Game Awards trailers for Smash Brothers. They're actually kind of funny. It would be like a completely different franchise. Like, they had a trailer with the Street Fighter characters that are in Smash Brothers, and they're all like fighting, and it's like done up all serious, like the regular fighting game. And then just Mario comes off screen and just fucking punches someone, and then they're like, "Wait, what?" And then it's like Super Smash Brothers Ultimate launching in 30 minutes, and it was like, "Yeah, baby."
Funny.
But yeah, no, I've done nothing but played Super Smash Brothers Ultimate, at least with my free time, since it's come out. So here's my thoughts for the Fork fam and our listeners. It is definitely the ultimate version. Um, Everybody's there. It's interesting because the previous now, are you familiar with the Smash Brothers franchise there, Burning Ring?
Uh, Kinda. I think I've only played two of them. I'm not a big Nintendo fan. Never have been.
Oh, really? Okay, that's fine.
So
That's fine. To each his own. Um, yeah, I think probably the most hardcore thing about Super Smash Bros. Ultimate that I can convey to our fans is, at least compared to the 3DS and the Wii U version, which was the last official release, also known as Smash 4, um, they took a left turn and didn't have you unlock the characters. And previously, all the other games, you would have to do certain requirements to unlock the different characters you play. Like you'd have a set basic roster and you unlock them, which is, kind of par for the course for fighting games. But then they changed that up in the Wii U version and they're like, oh, here they all are. Nope, you can just play with them. And they've gone back to you have to unlock them. And in a cute way, you start with the original 6 characters from the N64 version. And this game has 78 fighters.
Jesus.
Yeah, everybody's here. Yeah, so when it's called Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, do not let that name fool you. This is not like, oh, it's Street Fighter V Ultimate and it's got some tweaks and some extra characters. This is literally every single stage, every single character from every Smash Bros. Game, all in one game. Plus, they have one of the big concerns was when they said they were using the previous game's engine to build upon to build Smash Bros. Ultimate. Was like, oh, okay, so it'll just be a port. I can confirm with good consistency, this is not a port. This is indeed Smash 5. It is not a 1.5 with just all the other characters thrown in. It is definitely a full version number difference. There are so many minute changes and or a completely different move to different characters. Like I can't even get into them all because there's 78 fucking characters. But what I can say is, I actually brought it over to some friends of ours' house, and we were having a party with it last night. The amount of ridiculousness that goes on in this game is just Mario Kart and the previous Smashes on crack. Like like we were playing 4-player Smash. We were all beating the shit out of each other. We were playing on this weird level that's from this old, now defunct Nintendo thing called PictoChat. It's this little thing on the DS where you could like scribble little notes in real time over to people. And we're playing on this stupid fucking stage, and I was winning. Emphasis on was. And this hand comes across the screen and like pencil draws like a car or like a little rape van. And it drives to the left of the screen, and the dude driving the car picks up my character and straps him onto the roof rack, and then drives off the screen and destroys my character and causes me to lose. And me and my friends were laughing so hard because this rape van came out of nowhere. Because there's stage hazards, there's items, there's fucking throwing Pokeballs at people and like summoning creatures. It is just sheer madness. There's at one point where we're fighting on a plane and I summoned the main dragon from Monster Hunter World, and it was just flying around terrorizing my friends. Oh man, it is a riot of a good time. Let me tell you. But to kind of wrap it up, probably the biggest thing or biggest change, other than the fact that there's all the fighters and they have minute tweaks, is the spirit mode. So they have RPGified the shit out of this game. So there's 1,242 spirits, air quotes, to collect. And the spirits are different characters from different video games in kind of like a card form. And basically, you have your regular fighter, and you can attach a prime spirit. So, like, let's say you can attach, like Dr. Robotnik from Sonic the Hedgehog as a prime spirit, and he'll have some stats like he'll buff like your attack speed, but maybe he'll slow down your movement speed, and he'll change RPG stats. And then he'll have some slots, and then you can put sub spirits, and that's anything from Hal Emmerich from Metal Gear Solid to, just imagine all video gamedom is accessible, and you like merge them all into this crazy RPG hybrid, and then you go fight, and it's just insane.
It's like putting like a almost like a card or something on them to activate different ability, or not different ability, but different traits.
Yeah, exactly that. So you can, and so then that pairs with this new adventure mode where you actually have like a top-down 2D game board, and you're moving around to different spaces around this like giant world, and you'll be like, so like each of the fights are not like a regular. Oh, you're gonna fight one of these 78 characters. Like you do fighting, but the stages are built around approximating like a famous video game scene. So,
Uh-huh.
for example, like you might step on a square and it'll be like, okay, you're going to fight Metal Sonic from Sonic the Hedgehog, who's like the robot version of Sonic.
Yeah.
You know, Metal Sonic isn't actually in the game. So, what you're going to fight is Sonic, who's got a jetpack item strapped on, and he's got the metal box hit. So, he's metal like Metal Mario.
Oh.
So, you'll do like all of these different fights, and they're like air quotes based around these different video game moments, which is both cute and clever, and also sometimes really challenging. Like I was fighting this one thing on a level, and it's got some water in the level, and it has a specific parameter that's like, oh, if you touch the water, you drown. And so it's like, so
Okay.
instead of fighting, it became a game of like wrestling another character and like throwing him into the water to drown him. So the campaign is extremely clever, and that coupled with the RPG mechanic and the 78 characters, and I think it's got like 102 stages.
Good Lord.
Yeah, and they've got this other new thing called Stage Morph now, which I gotta say is maybe one of my favorite inventions in any fighting game ever. So you basically select two stages, and after certain
Mm-hmm.
parameters are met, the stage morphs into one of the other stages.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so you could be like, you could set it to be like, okay, I want the stage to morph into, this other stage after 1 minute. Or I want the stage to morph into, we'll just hit random or something. I want it to morph into something random after I get like 2 KOs or something like that.
Yeah.
And it's just bonkers.
So that kind of reminds me of, I don't know if you've played any of the Dragon Ball Fighter games.
I have not, because I'm not a Dragon Ball guy.
That's right.
Yeah, I've heard
Yeah,
they're
that's too
really
bad.
good games, though. It
They are.
actually, speaking of that,
Some of my favorites.
it won the Fighting Game of the Year at Game Awards.
Yeah. Yeah, it did.
So,
But anyways, so in those later games, I think the Budokai series had it, or Budokai Tenkaichi had
Mhm.
it. Anyways, you could like hit someone so hard it sent them to another part of
yeah,
the map.
yeah, they've had that in certain fighting games for a while.
And then also, like, depending on if, like, so say you were on Earth or whatever,
Mhm.
like you started at the Cell games, you hit them so hard, you'd fly into the mountains. Well, if you did a super attack and it blew up the planet,
Yeah,
it would change slightly the look behind you of which one you were at to kind of keep it
that's
in
pretty
tune
cool.
with where you were at.
That's pretty cool. Let's see. Yeah. Yeah, I'm definitely going to be talking about more in Smash in the coming weeks because it's only been out 48 hours.
On the first 48.
Yeah, but I can say, considering I didn't do my regular Fork in the Year podcast yesterday afternoon, like I was gonna. By the way, Fork fam, I should have probably said that at the top of the show. The reason we got good old Burningwing here, other than the fact that he's a great general, awesome guy, is so
Well, thank you.
I get a text from Mike 30 minutes after our usual record time, and I'm like, because I was like, hey, where are you at? And he wasn't answering, and he's like, hey, so I have fucking shitty luck. And I was like, oh? He's like, so my car completely died going 50 miles an hour, and I'm stuck on a freeway. And I was like, oh, really? And he's like, yeah. I was like, okay, so no show? You want me to cancel? And he's like, well, I'm still waiting for a tow. 4 hours later, I get a text from Mike going, yeah, you should call it. And I was like, yeah? And I was like, why? And he's like, I'm still waiting for that fucking tow.
Jesus
And I was like,
Christ.
oh my God, I'm so sorry, Mike. He's like, yeah, well, fuck me, right? So that's why there's no Mike this week. He sends his love, but not his car. Yeah, so yeah, next week, folks, probably, hopefully. Yeah, Smash Bros. Ultimate. It's indeed the ultimate. Those concerned about campaign, because Smash Bros. Has kind of gone back and forth in terms of sometimes it has a campaign, sometimes it doesn't have a campaign, sometimes it does and it's shit, sometimes it does and it's short. I can tell you because it has a game clock on the campaign. I played the campaign for 7 hours. And it has an overworld map with a fog of war, and it covers your whole screen, and like that's basically the game size zoomed out. I have gone through maybe 20%. So I think the campaign's huge. That's what I have to say about that. All right, let's change topics. Unless there's any other video game things you wanted to throw out there. Burningwing?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
I'm good.
Sweet. All right, here we go. All right. It is. All right, entertainment. So, a couple of things have been going on in the entertainment world. Just a couple of things. Some good, some bad, some amazing. A lot of stuff going on. So probably I'll handle the one of the really worst things up firstly. So, astrophysicist and Star Talk host Neil deGrasse Tyson has responded to allegations of sexual misconduct. God damn it. Not Neil. Not Neil! Apparently he had an intern assistant, and she claimed that he was totally inappropriately hugging her or something.
Sleazing on her.
Yeah. And he's responded quite directly, unlike most other people in the spotlight. And he had a very nice letter saying that, here's what happened on blah date, here's what happened then, here's what happened here. She had this reaction then. It's surprising to me that she's having this reaction, 6 months after, she moved on to different employment. It's very scientific, which is not terribly surprising. And
right.
He said that, if he is indeed found guilty of these allegations, he's more than willing to do anything about it. And he's totally cooperative with the investigative committee from National Geographic and the Fox Broadcasting Company, of which his Cosmos and Star Talk shows are associated with. So I would like to think that he's a decent, amazing human being. What about you, Burningwing?
Yeah. I mean, it kind of sounds like he was just maybe too nice. I
could see that based on the way you see how he behaves,
Yeah, he seems like he's just a genuine guy. He hug you. He's gonna maybe hold your hand slightly too long, like a nerd might.
That's a good way of putting it. You're gonna hold your hand too long. a little bit of Ant-Man, Scott Lang. Oh, gee.
I think if it made her feel uncomfortable, obviously that's not good. However, I think I said it was 9. It's been 9 years since the accident.
Oh, really?
I think that's what I read.
I read 6 months.
Was it 6 months? Oh, maybe it was a different incident then.
I think there was 2 incidents in question.
Well, one was real bad. He's gonna Cosby someone. Is apparently what that one was.
Yeah, I'd heard that as well. I think that one got dismissed already. There's 2 girls with 2 different assistants. One was the one from years ago, and then the other was 6 months ago.
6 months ago. Okay.
Yeah.
That to me, it sounds like, especially in this time that we're in now, if she felt uncomfortable, she should have said something right then. I realize it may have been hard.
Yeah.
And maybe it's on the guys now too. Just before you go and hug someone, ask. Just be like, "You all right with a hug?"
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like sometimes it's not in people's DNA, you know? Like for
Yeah.
example, uh my girlfriend and I, we went over to this party with an ex-coworker of hers, and it's this girl named Cami, and I'd never met or seen or talked or knew nothing about this girl, but like she greeted me with a hug like right as we came in, and I'm a little more of a reserved person. Like you got to work up to a hug with me, you know. But then
Yeah.
as I got to know her, like like she's a girl from Jersey, New York, so like she's got like the whole accent and thing going on. And I was like,
Mm.
it's probably just, she's from a different area of the country that I'm from, and like
Yeah.
that's probably pretty common over there, I would imagine, you know. Because it was
Yeah.
one of those things of like, oh, hey, hugs, hey, here's dinner. How's your mother? What's going on? Like, okay,
Uh,
I don't know anybody over here who asks how your
yeah.
mother's doing. Like,
Uh,
but I don't hold that against her now, and I've hung out with her a
right.
couple of times now, and she's a lovely person.
I
But
don't know. It just seems anymore. It just seems like you can't do anything nice. Almost
yeah, I
like
know, right? You're
I've heard
damned if you
stories of
do.
people.
You're damned if you don't.
Yeah, I've heard stories people getting mad. You hold the door for them.
Oh, I've heard that too.
You can't hug someone, without permission anymore. It seems like,
Yeah, it's
which I get. If you don't want to be touched, you don't want to be touched. I understand.
sure.
At the same time, if you see someone coming in for a hug, you can be like, no, we're good.
Exactly.
But
Yeah, it's a whole. Yeah, this.
it's I don't know. It's going to take some getting used to for everyone just to find out what's acceptable anymore.
Yeah, I think. I don't know. I agree. The world's gone a bit crazy.
Yes.
Stop it. Calm down. There's 11 Mortal Kombats for Christ's sake. Calm down. Oh man. In other news, Hulu has signed a multi-year, multi-million-dollar deal with Funimation Entertainment to expand and produce brand new anime exclusively for Hulu.
Yes. Can't wait.
I think this makes a lot of sense, considering Disney's now the overlords of Hulu, and I'm sure
Are they
that's
really?
yeah. So when Disney bought Fox, so here's how it is. Hulu is a joint effort between Fox,
Was
NBC, Universal, and
it
yeah,
Warner Brothers?
no, they don't. They don't have it. They have their stuff on there, but they don't own it.
They're not part of it. Okay.
Yeah, they're signed with them, but they're not an owner.
Yeah.
And so, NBC and Universal obviously merged ages ago, so they became the majority share. Um, but then then ABC joined a while after, and their buy-in, because they're ABC/Disney, was a percentage of the company. And with the percentage of the company that they already had plus Fox's, that puts them at 68% ownership.
Oh wow.
So they have majority. They can do whatever the fuck they want with Hulu.
Pretty much, yeah.
Um, and they said for a while now that they've got their Disney streaming service, Disney Plus, coming out next fall, which is gonna just destroy. I think.
My kids are gonna be so sad when they can't watch their Disney stuff now. I'm saying that seriously because I'm not paying for another damn streaming service.
I mean, I'm in. I. So here's where I'm at on that. I definitely am paying for too many streaming services. However, I don't have satellite, so I'm not also paying whatever the $100 a month for that shit. But at the same time, it's like, man, I've got fucking HBO, I've got Stars, I've got Hulu, I've got Netflix. I have Amazon because I do have Amazon Prime. Thankfully, that's bundled together. Thank
That
God.
yeah. Oh god, that's so nice.
Yeah, smartest move they ever
However,
did.
I love Amazon Video because they have a lot of good
Yeah.
stuff on there that you just can't find everywhere else.
Yeah.
I hate the fact that they won't play nice with the Chromecast.
Oh, or they, if it makes you feel any better, um, I couldn't have Amazon. So okay, rant topic now. You forced me. You forced me. I hate when video companies have arguments with other companies and then the consumer gets fucked on it.
Oh yeah.
You know, it's like I hate, you know, and I'm not an Android person, but I hate that like Amazon's shit couldn't get all of like, you know, that you couldn't have fucking YouTube on your Amazon Fire or tablet or whatever because they're in a fucking
Yeah.
fighting contest. And then they
Right.
pulled Amazon Prime from their fucking tablets and stuff. Because at least as far as Amazon goes, you know, I've had 3 different versions of Apple TVs.
Mm-hmm.
And on my second Apple TV, I had Amazon Prime Video for a long time. And then one day it disappeared. I was like, wait,
Mm-hmm.
what? Where did it go? And then I had to Google and find out that Amazon had literally pulled all Apple products and shit. Like they don't sell Apple products, period.
Yep.
Because they were fighting with Apple. And I was like, well, shit. And
Yeah.
so the only way that I could watch Amazon Prime was either on my computer, which is no, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. I could still, thankfully, at least in their Amazon app, which was still on the phones for some reason. I never quite understood that logic, right? That didn't make any sense to me. Like, okay, so it doesn't exist on the set-top box. That's also Apple. It doesn't exist on the iPad, but you're going to keep the iPhone app. What? So the only way for me to watch Amazon Prime videos for like 2.5 years was to launch it on my phone, make sure my phone was plugged in because video sucks battery, and then stream it to my Apple TV just because they were having a fight. It's so
you
dumb.
can't even do that on Android.
Oh, that sucks.
Because I tried this. I started on my phone.
Yeah.
Cast my phone screen.
Yep. I would do the same exact. I would do the same exact thing on the Apple side.
Everything would work right up until I hit the play button. As soon as I hit the play button, the TV would go black.
Man,
you could not watch anything from Amazon Prime on Chromecast, and it's still like that to this day because I just tried it again a couple months ago because my kid wanted to watch something that was only on Amazon.
I'm sorry, man.
Because like you said, I don't have cable. I have Hulu, Netflix, Amazon, Google, you know, all that kind of stuff.
Sure. I mean, that's the way of the world these days.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I feel you. I mean, if it makes you feel any better, even though it was streaming from my thing. So like normally, like when you would do that, it would just reroute on the OS side and like blow up the video fully. This was still me basically it's called airplaying my screen onto my TV. So it was like extra letterboxed.
Yeah.
When I took to side and I could get it, and I have 5.1 surround sound system, and so it's just a shitty stereo at that.
Yeah.
But you know, it's the only way I could get it over there because it's like I wasn't gonna watch it on my fucking laptop. Hell no.
Like it's getting to be such a problem now because my kids, they like to watch stuff on it all the time because so I have a smart TV, LG with the WebOS on it, right?
Okay, yeah.
And it has Amazon Prime app.
Rest in peace, Palm.
Yeah. Do a little RIP for him.
Yeah.
But anyways, so they'll watch stuff on YouTube, Amazon Prime, whatever. Well, they'll want to watch it on their TV when they go to bed, and of course I can't. And so I've contemplated spending the $35 on a Fire Stick.
Yeah.
For their TVs, even though I've already have Chromecast in there, and Chromecast does every fucking thing else, but I can't watch fucking Amazon on it.
Yeah, I don't know the whole. So, don't get me wrong, I love my Apple TV, and I totally get people who have Chromecast TVs and Amazon Fire TVs and whatnot. but I also kind of hate that there's individualized boxes for fucking everything. Like,
Well, so the
it's so dumb.
Chromecast isn't a box. I don't know how much you know about Chromecast.
I know I know that it exists, and I know that it can do beaming, and I know a buddy of mine has the dongle HDMI one.
Okay, so he's got the second gen, is what
Okay.
he's got. So anyway, well, Chromecast, basically what it is it's just a little box that you cast your screen to. Well, when you cast your screen to it, what it does is it takes that information,
Yep.
and then takes it directly from your router instead of your phone. So you can turn your phone off after you cast something, and it'll continue playing.
Okay.
So your phone's not needed as soon as you hit the cast button and play. Your phone's not needed.
Okay, that's interesting. So
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 it's not a box of any kind. It's from your phone, just whatever you can cast. And there's multiple apps, so you can put all kinds of, you can put pictures up there.
you're just telling it what IP address to grab the data from.
Basically, yeah.
Okay, that's interesting because that's basically one half of what on the Apple side AirPlay does. So,
Yeah.
for example, like if I right now went to YouTube on my phone or some video from a website or whatever, it would go over to my Apple TV, and it will try to grab it from the web first. And if it can't, it'll default to streaming from the phone directly.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a twofold thing. It checks first, sees if it can or can get a stable connection, and then if it doesn't, it defaults back to the phone stream. Which is, the whole reason why, again, on the Amazon Prime, it was extra letterboxed because it couldn't.
Right.
Be like, we're blocked. Okay, we'll stream it from the phone.
That's nice. I think it was starting in Android 7. No, Android 6.
Okay.
They put that Chromecast had to be in all apps, basically.
Yeah.
They had, didn't have to be, but the API for all the apps support Chromecast. It's up to the developer to enable it.
Okay.
Basically.
Sweet. Yeah, makes sense. How the fuck did we get on that? We were talking about streaming, and then we went off on a wide swinging rant about fucking
squirrel.
Oh man. Yeah. Funimation, Hulu. They're doing some more things. Oh man. Cool. All right. Are you a MCU fan?
Yeah.
Okay, sweet. Did you see the Avengers 4 trailer?
No.
Oh. Okay.
I've been in a cave of work for the last 3 days. 3 days? Yeah, 3 days.
Oh, okay.
So I get caught up right before I go to bed, basically, and that's about it.
Okay. So I will say, I mean, you haven't seen it, but there's not a lot to talk about. It doesn't reveal shit. It's mostly just a sad trailer, and
I heard some people were upset about it. I don't know.
It does not reveal a goddamn thing.
Okay.
Like, it's basically, it looks like one scene from the actual movie, and then some epic music that doesn't really go anywhere because they don't really show anything. Like, I mean, like, it's essentially like, do you mind if I spoil it for you?
I don't care. No.
Okay, cool. Yeah, it's essentially Tony Stark floating adrift in the whatever replaced the Milano ship from Guardians 2. And he's saying he's running out of oxygen, and food ran out 4 days ago, and he's got like 12 hours to live. And he's recording a holo video into half of his Iron Man helmet laying on the floor before it loses power, essentially. And he's like, I'm going to drift off to the endless dreams here, and I'll, of course, be thinking of you, Pepper. It's always you. And then, some epic music comes on, and some voiceover from Scarlett Johansson saying, Thanos did exactly what he said he was going to do. Everybody's half dead. And then, sad shots of everybody who lived. And then there was a shot of Thanos brushing some, I don't know, corn stalks or some shit with his really fucking destroyed Infinity Gauntlet. It looks like it's fucking fused onto his hand now. It's kind of grody, actually. And he's like walking through the cornfield, and the camera pans over, and he's got like his more comic traditional battle armor that he had for like half a second in Infinity War, and he's turned it into a scarecrow in a cornfield. And it's kind of a weird sight, but I did some digging, and I guess it's an exact scene from a comic book. So
yeah, from what I understand, that whole setup is pretty true to the comic book.
Yeah, that's my understanding as well. And then it closes with Cap crying, and then turning over to Natasha. Oh, actually, no. There's a scene before that. Scarlett Johansson, she was in like Japan, and there's like a dude in a hooded figure, and he's got like a cool Japanese sword. And he's like cleaning it after maybe killing somebody, and he turns around, and it's Jeremy Renner's Hawkeye. Although he's got like a totally different haircut, darker. I'm thinking his family got ghosted.
Oh,
he looks pissed.
That's
pretty much the only thing you can glean from the trailer. And then it cuts to Cap, and then he's like, "This is gonna work, because if it doesn't, I don't know what I'm gonna do with myself." And then it cuts to the thing, and then the title comes up. It's the official title of Avengers 4 is Avengers Endgame. And then it cuts to I guess Avengers HQ, and then the I cannot say that word. The Cucaracha van from Ant-Man rolls up, and Ant-Man gets up, and he's like, "Hey, you guys buzz me in?" and then Cap's like, "Is this an old recording?" Because I don't know. I guess they assumed he was dead or whatever. And then Scarlett's like, "No, that's a live feed," and he's like, "Yeah, I was that guy. I was big. We fought at the airport. Went away for jail. Just buzz me in." And that was basically all the trailer showed. Wasn't a terrible lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And there's nothing really to infer other than everybody's sad, Hawkeye's pissed, and Ant-Man? Yeah, Did you see Ant-Man and the Wasp?
I have not. Actually, speaking of that, I may have to watch that while I'm out of town here.
Oh, well, we'll give it a go. So let's just say, without spoiling anything, it's left ambiguous as to his location at the end of the second film. So him showing up in the trailer is interesting, to say the least. You'll know why after you see the movie.
Okay.
So that happened. There's also a trailer for Captain Marvel, which...
Oh, I can't wait for that movie.
Oh, really? You're super excited?
I am. I love Brie Larson. I don't know much about the Captain Marvel altogether.
Me neither. And I'm a comic book guy.
from what I have gathered, she's pretty neat. I'm kind of hoping my oldest daughter will want to go with me to it and see it.
How old's your oldest daughter?
She's 7. She'll be 8 here next month.
Okay, cool. Very cool. Probably.
She actually told me the other day she wanted to go see Bumblebee. So.
Oh, nice.
I'm going to see that.
Yeah, I'm hearing good things about Bumblebee. Speaking of Bumblebee, it's officially been confirmed that, and this is actually really surprising because I did not know this. And I like Transformers in general. I even like the Michael Bay movies. I don't care what people say.
I'm with you.
But apparently, well, then this will come as a shock to you. Apparently, Bumblebee is a full universe reboot.
Really?
Yeah, so it's completely ignoring the previous 5 movies.
Oh, that's too bad.
Yeah, I was like, wait, what? Why are they doing that? So, yeah. But I hear that it's pretty good. I was reading some reviews this morning. I guess the general consensus is it's not quite as good as the original first Bay film, but it comes the closest to recapturing that kind of magic of seeing Transformers for the first time. So,
To me, the Transformers movies are just more turn your brain off and watch shit blow up and see some cool robots.
I mean, I agree, but at the same time, I also like the elements that they have gotten in, like the deep Transformers lore elements.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm a big fan of Transformers lore, actually. I've liked what they've been able to put into the movies thus far. But yeah, I guess I'll have to rejigger my brain on that one because Bumblebee, despite looking sort of like the previous films, is not. It's not connected. So I don't know. Interesting. We'll see. We'll see. Yeah. So in a surprise move, apparently there is a Spider-Man Far From Home trailer that has been shown exclusively in Comic-Con Brazil. Yeah. So I guess we don't have a trailer for that now in the States.
So, I guess my question is Avengers Endgame coming out next year or the year after?
Next year. It's April 14th.
Holy shit, man! That's because then Avengers Infinity War just come out this last May.
Yep. Then Ant-Man in July. And Black Panther, was in February of this year, too.
Yeah.
So next year, it'll be Captain Marvel, Avengers 4, Spider-Man Far From Home.
Wow.
That'll be 2019.
Man, they're pumping those things out.
Yeah. Also, very interestingly, so Kevin Feige, the super producer of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, apparently had direct input and control over the script and the reshoots of the X-Men Dark Phoenix film, which is also coming out in like fucking March or January or something of next year.
Oh, really?
So now the rumor going around is Kevin Feige, who previously has never had control over an X-Men movie because they were over at Fox, and since Disney bought them, does this mean that X-Men Dark Phoenix is the first X-Men film to be in the MCU?
That'd be interesting.
Yeah, for sure. Or at the very least, some kind of somewhat lame but explainable thing of, Dark Phoenix. Phoenix Force rips a hole in the universe, the X-Men show up. Yeah, done.
It's Deadpool's just gonna pop up at the front and be like, we did this because reasons. And they're done.
You're like, you see, when Mommy Disney has a baby with Fox, you get the MCU. Like, I can see it totally being a thing like that. Oh, man. Jason Momoa, star of Aquaman, has officially commented on Henry Cavill's supposed DCEU exit and Affleck reportedly not returning to the Batman role. He basically had this, because I don't know if anybody's ever seen an interview with Jason Momoa. He's an interesting guy off camera. That's for sure.
He is.
He's like, Henry's done 3, and I know he wanted to do a second Superman film. It didn't seem like they wanted to do that, so he wanted to move on from that. He's got shit to do, And Ben's great, and he's a great director, and he's done 3, and he's like, I think when you've done 3 DC movies, you want to do, and then he pauses and he goes, "Fuck, I've done 3 DC movies," and that was the end of the interview. I was like, "Oh, classic Momoa."
Oh yeah.
So that's pretty good. Spinning over into that, the early fan reviews for Aquaman is that it is big, dumb fun with a lot of heart, and the actual storyline is actually really good and well presented, and that it is a complete James Cameron Avatar feast for the eyes from start to finish. So, but nobody was like shat on it. Nobody, all the Twitter reviews and stuff that I've seen so far, I've read a couple hundred of them. They all seemed pretty positive. They're like, It's Aquaman. It's on the big screen, and it's kind of great.
Hmm.
So, yeah, I don't know. I'm looking
Yeah,
forward to it personally.
yeah, I'm excited to see it. I can't wait. It comes out the 21st, right?
Yeah, or the 15th if you buy tickets through Amazon Prime.
Yeah, so the 21st.
Yeah. Oh, that was so well played, Wedding Ring. Whip crack. That too. Oh man, that was good. Oh, that's good. Yeah, looking forward to Jason Momoa's Aquaman. That's for sure. So there is a official, okay, not official. There's a lot of eyewitness descriptions from Brazil Comic Con who saw the Spider-Man Far From Home trailer. And as a big Spider-Man fan, as people may know, I am not on board with what they're saying about this trailer. I'm very much not. I'm not for it, good sirs. So, the one that CBR.com is reporting on that seems to have the most people saying the same thing about it is, so basically, Tom Holland Spider-Man's going to the UK, and Jake Gyllenhaal is playing Mysterio.
Mm-hmm.
Now, in any other universe in which you say Spider-Man and Mysterio, you'd think, all right, he's going to play some tricks, and they're going to have a nice game of cat and mouse, and like fucking each other over until Spider-Man ultimately defeats him. Right?
Right.
That is not what the description of the trailer shown at Brazil Comic-Con is saying. So here's what it says. There are these new threats to the world called elementals, elemental creatures, and Mysterio is someone who knows about them, and he wants to make sure the world is safe from them. Nick Fury asks Mysterio to come on and help, because he's the only one who really sort of understands them. He teams up with the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, and they go in search of fighting these elementals. What in the fuck is that? What is that? What?
To me, that's classic Mysterio, though.
So yeah,
It sounds to me. Well, okay. So first of all, the Nick Fury part,
yeah,
kind of gives away a little bit of Avengers 4. Was it 4?
Obviously, he lives, as does Spider-Man.
Well, no. Nick Fury was one of the ones that turned to dust.
So was Spider-Man.
Oh, he was.
Your point?
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. So does that mean it's before that?
No.
Huh. Anyways,
yeah.
Classic Mysterio. It sounds like he's using his mind games on.
I could see
whoever
that. I could see it being that
something going that he wants to. Eventually, he'll turn on Spider-Man, and do his thing. They'll fight, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I really hope it's that. I mean, I thought the same thought. But if it is as it is on what they're saying there, I am not okay with that. I'm not okay in a universe where Mysterio and Spider-Man are friends. And now that I said it out loud, I feel kind of torn because I also kind of feel like maybe I shouldn't say that. Because there's an interesting surprise in the Spider-Man PS4 game as to who Peter Parker works for. And is not a villain as he normally is. Yeah, it's an interesting twist. I'm not going to spoil it because I think everybody should enjoy Spider-Man PS4 on their own and enjoy the different tweaks that they've made to the classic formula. But essentially he works for one of his most famous villains.
I think I know who you're talking about.
And his villain is not a villain in this game, essentially.
Yeah.
So I suppose if Spider-Man is teaming up with a villain in this new first time Mysterio's ever been on the movie screen thing, it could be interesting, I suppose. But I do definitely hope that it's him just being an asshole with his high-tech trickery.
If it was my guess, that would be my theory, is he's being Mysterio, like it's either Fury wasn't real, or Fury was under the spell of something, or something of that nature.
I really hope it's a scenario like, so there was a very, very recent Amazing Spider-Man comic when they just started their new set here a couple issues ago, where Peter Parker wakes up late. He loses another job. He's in between different jobs right now. And he had like this like really stinky sock on his face. Hold on with me. I'm going somewhere with this.
Okay.
He had this really sticky sock on his face, and it like plugged his nose up, and he's complaining about the smell of this thing. And he like opens up his like New York penthouse window or whatever, and he looks out and he sees like the Avengers and like the whole city's on fire, and like they're all like like just like completely like getting like mobbed by something.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, whoa, what did I sleep through? And so, he dons a Spider-Man suit and he swings out, and he comes by and like he sees Iron Man, and Iron Man is fighting, but there's like nobody in front of him, and he's like destroying buildings trying to fight this thing. And Spider-Man's like, what? Hey, what, Tony? What are you fighting? He's like, it's the Skrull invasion. They're here again, And Spider-Man's just chilling there, and he's watching Iron Man fight, like, basically the air. And he's like, there's no Kree in front of you. And Tony's like, wait, what? And then he's like, no, stop fighting. And he's like, oh, but he's right there. And then I was like, well, maybe you should, like, scan it with your suit or something. And, like, Iron Man scans it, and he's like, oh, there is no life form. And then basically they figure out that it's Mysterio has like thrown this basically like scarecrow like toxin over New York to make them think that the Skrulls are invading again. And Spider-Man's the only one who figures it out because he had this stinky sock over his nose. Like fucked up the chemicals. And there's a whole scene where he's arresting Mysterio and he's like, how? It was perfect. I was going to destroy all the Avengers and rule New York. And then he's like, well, then maybe you should have done it after I did laundry day. It was like so good. I was laughing so hard. So I'm hoping more for the, that's the trickery of these elementals. It's some kind of toxin or something. But anyway, that was the point I was trying to make with that stuff. So yeah. The other thing that was revealed at Brazil Comic-Con is Spider-Man does indeed have a brand new suit. They showed off a slightly different of his main suit that he wore in the previous movie, but he has a brand new, like, actual suit. He's got a stealth suit. There's an actual screenshot here. You can see it in our Discord. Fork fam, go to @GetForked on Twitter and check that out. And it looks basically like a black suit. And he's got kind of like a goggle of a spider lens. And the closest I could say is it looks like the Spider-Man Noir suit, but like if he made it out of stuff he got from the sports store.
Kinda, yeah.
Yeah. So we'll see how that plays into the movie. But anyway, more Spider-Man suits, the better, in my opinion. That's what I've got for entertainment news. What about you, good sir? Do you got any news? Or you seen any of the movies lately?
Nope, just work.
Oh.
I mean, I could tell you about the inside of an airplane if you want. I mean, that's not exciting.
I mean, I imagine there's wires.
Yeah, lots of wires.
Metal.
Some, yeah.
And depending on the location of the plane, probably some sort of fuel.
It's normally above my head right now, yes.
Yeah. Planes.
Yay. Flying.
Excellent. Last weekend I saw the Fantastic Beasts Crimes of Grindelwald with my girlfriend.
You know what? I did see The Grinch a couple weeks ago.
Oh, nice. I saw that as well.
Really cute. I enjoyed it.
I thought it was really good. I just wished it was a little funnier. Like, they made it out to be funnier than it was from the trailers.
Yeah.
And then they ultimately, like I talked about it on the show, but I essentially summed it up as I totally had a very enjoyable time. I liked Benedict Cumberbatch as the Grinch. I liked the CGI. You
Mhm.
know, totally great, fine movie. But I feel like
Yeah.
the first like 15 minutes of it are super funny, and then like maybe somewhere along the way, whoever owns the rights to the Grinch was like, "Hey, you know what we should do? We should really just turn around and make it exactly like every other Grinch film." Like keep it the same damn story.
Yeah.
So I was hoping for something just a little bit different and a little funnier. And like it's a nice, great, heartwarming Christmas movie, and the animation is very fantastic. Um, but yeah, I'm sure your kids loved it, right?
Oh yeah, both kids loved it.
That's good. That's good. Yeah. I saw Crimes of Grindelwald. You a Harry Potter guy?
I have read all the books. I love the books, and I made it through 6 movies,
Oh,
6 of the 8.
oh, should
So
probably
I never actually
finish that
finished the
set.
last 2 movies, but I have read all the books.
Yeah, no, you know what happens.
Yeah.
Did you see Fantastic Beasts?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
No, I didn't realize that was part of the Harry Potter universe
Oh,
until
yeah.
like this one came out.
Yeah, I can
So
understand how you wouldn't quite know that from the trailers. Um, yeah. So I saw the second one. Um, I will tell anybody out there who's a big Harry Potter fan. Um, because I kept leaning over to my girlfriend Jessica, and she kept leaning over to me throughout the movie, like, okay, this is interesting. I don't fucking remember any of these characters. Who's that guy? What's that person doing? Was that girl in the first film? What the fuck is going on? So I'll say this, moviegoers. If you like Harry Potter, but you have not seen the first Fantastic Beasts film, for fuck's sake, see it before you see the second one. Because I needed a fucking scorecard and I had to go back on Wikipedia after the credits rolled. And I felt like an asshole for not remembering what the fuck happened in the first film, since this is obviously a sequel. Um, yeah, that'd be what I said. Other than that, I thought it was a really good movie. After I kind of figured out what the fuck was going on. But yeah, that first hour was rough. Not because the movie was bad or anything, because I'm not entirely sure, because I was just going, all right, that's the dude who lost the beasts. And that's the fat dude who was in New York. And there's Johnny Depp. Okay? Oh, I know that one. That's Hogwarts. Okay, I know Hogwarts. That's what Hogwarts looks like. Okay, all right. No, now, okay, Paris. Okay, there's a bunch of characters. Yeah, I don't know any of these guys. Like, that's that's very unfortunately how my experience went, which really kind of sucked because, like, there's like a lot of magic stuff going on, and if you've read the books, there's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff in there actually for the book people, and I'm glad that I read the books because there's a lot of backstory stuff that they're filling in now, actually.
oh.
So for people who haven't seen Crimes of Grindelwald, but who at least know the Harry Potter movie series or have read the books, there is a lot of very interesting and juicy stuff, both about young Dumbledore, played by Jude Law in this one, by the way, and Gellert Grindelwald, who's played by Johnny Depp, and how there's more information about their relationship. There's more information about this great war that Grindelwald was part of. And it essentially, here's how I kind of view it now that I've been able to fill in the pieces and remember who characters are after going to Wikipedia and watching some YouTube videos for about 3 hours to catch myself up on all this stuff. Is Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them is a nice, fun, magical romp that is really a prequel to Crimes of Grindelwald, and Grindelwald is basically the prologue to the Great Wizard War that was mentioned that happened before Voldemort. So I would say Crimes of Grindelwald is a fantastic setup for what the third movie will be. That's what I'll say there. It's a little exposition heavy, but with good reason, because it's building to something really quite probably very fascinating. And I'll also say that Johnny Depp's performance of Grindelwald was absolutely fantastic, and as was newcomer to playing the character of Dumbledore, Jude Law played I thought he was an excellent young Dumbledore. So yeah, check out Crimes of Grindelwald in theaters now. Yeah. Oh, the other thing that I saw recently, although I missed it in theaters, we talked about it early in the summer. I finally watched the Happy Time Murders.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty great.
Happy Time Murders.
Yeah.
Is that the one where the
It's the puppets. It's the puppets live in the real
okay.
world.
That's right.
Yeah. Did you see that?
No, but I the trailers make me want to just fall out of my chair laughing.
Oh yeah. Well, then you'll enjoy the film. Yeah, I watched the movie. I had pretty high expectations because Mike said he laughed, spitting the soda out of his nose throughout the whole theater.
Mm-hmm.
I will say it's definitely funny. It's definitely funny. But the thing that I didn't expect to be surprised by was actually, the basic, cop murder mystery plot was actually really good. By the end of the film, there was that great, oh, aha, of like who did it, and it's like, hey, that was actually really clever. I didn't quite get there, but yeah, no, it's funny. If you want to see the dirtiest, raunchiest puppets you have ever seen in your life, from the son of Jim Henson and the guy who is the voice and the Muppet actor for Elmo and Cookie Monster, performing the main detective. Yeah, it's a good time. So that's available on video on demand and DVDs everywhere. It's pretty good. Let's see, anything else in entertainment? Oh, we did kind of gloss over the fact that there was a Captain Marvel trailer. Did you see the new Captain Marvel trailer?
No, I have not seen that yet either.
Okay. You gotta watch some stuff here while you're in your hotel room there, good sir.
I do. I've got some catching up to do, apparently.
It was a little more of a direct... You saw the first trailer, right?
Yes.
It was very mysterious, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the second trailer is a lot more direct, but if you look more closer, it also looks like this is going to be one of those films where you're not entirely sure, like, the sequence of events.
The good guys? Oh.
Well, because they mention a lot about, like, tampering with her mind.
Mm-hmm.
And in the trailer, if you look closely, you can see both the Kree Empire, like, tampering with her mind, and the Skrull Empire tampering with her mind. So I'm thinking that even though this is a superhero origin story, this movie might be a little bit more like Memento, where you're not going to have all the complete picture until the end of the film, which is interesting. The one thing that it does show, though, is it shows Captain Marvel going super fucking Saiyan and just shrekking fools. like just shrekking fools. And then the other thing that eagle-eyed people, aka Reddit, has figured out is, she shoots these beams of energies out of her fists.
Mm-hmm.
And people have pointed out that this energy, the way it looks in the trailer, is identical to the quantum realm energy from the Ant-Man films.
Oh, really?
So the ongoing theory is she basically quantum realm powered? Like, is that how her fucking shit gets together? Which would be very interesting, because I can't say anything, because Ant-Man 2 deals a lot with the quantum realm. I would say look for some potential answers there in Ant-Man 2.
Okay.
Yeah, check that out. So yeah, this has been a busy week for Disney and movies and whatnots. So that's what I got. That's what I got for entertainment. Let's spin the ring one final time, and we'll kind of actually we don't need to spin the ring. I'll just merge
I was gonna ask
life
but...
and tech together here, and we'll get this show on the road. So, and this is tying right back around to something that I usually forget by the end of these podcasts. Is we were talking about how Fortnite is 200 million concurrent players, right?
Yeah.
So most people know by now that my girlfriend's family is cops, and so we went with I got up at the ass crack of dawn on Saturday, which I was not too happy about, and we went to a Target so that we could help with Shop with a Cop, and basically they take underprivileged youths and like poor youths and stuff, and they get like $100 to shop with a cop, and they can buy whatever the fuck they want.
Yeah, that's cool.
And you know what these kids bought?
Fortnite stuff.
Gift cards so they could get V-Bucks.
Oh, Jesus.
So, if you're wondering who all the fuck is playing Fortnite, it is poor people who have gotten money in programs. Do that. Now, I'll be honest, like that sounds like absolutely terrible. However, I was talking with one of the kids. He was 8, and he was talking about how he got to skip like 4 years of math because he was already doing math at a 12-year-old level.
Oh, wow.
So in that regard, he's kicking ass at school, even though I guess his living circumstances are not great. So in that sense, like that's okay, fine. Dude's kicking ass at math at school. He's fucking 8. If he wants fucking $100 V-Bucks, fuck it, go for it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like more power to you, right? Stay in school, all that sort of stuff. And then I found out a little bit about how because I guess there has been like abuses of this program, Shop with a Cop. You know, like people taking advantage of it and not being quite who they say they were, so they could get free fucking shopping.
$300. Yeah.
Yeah, right. And then I guess it's done by youth services, so they're like properly vetted, like they actually, this is their fucking Christmas, basically.
Yeah.
So in that sense, okay, fine. Yeah. Underprivileged, sucks about your living circumstances. Good job on, your school and your Fortnite winnings, I guess. So, yeah. So anyway, that's what I got from my life story. I suppose your life story involves travel.
Well, yeah. So Wednesday, the boss comes up to me and asks me, "Hey, do you want to go back to Independence for 2 weeks?" I'm like, "I haven't had overtime for 2 years, so yes, I do."
Nice. Time and a half?
Well, most of it's time and a half, but I get some double. Like today was all double time. But anyways, so I came down Thursday morning. I got here about 9 o'clock, so I had to travel 2.5 hours. I think is what the drive was. Gotcha. From my house down here. And then I get here and get to talking to some of the guys, and they're like, "Yeah, we don't know why they sent you because we really don't need the help."
Gotcha.
I'm like, "That's fine. I get paid either way. So if you're gonna let me come in and work, I'll just come in and do nothing, I guess. I got nothing better to do while I'm down here."
Huh. Well, not the end of the world, and you're getting paid for it. So there you go.
Yeah.
Sweet. So technology. I've only got one bit of tech. Actually, do I only have one bit? I didn't actually look at my fucking Discord. I'm a terrible person.
So bad. So bad.
It's the end of the show. Everybody leave me alone. Okay, I have 2 bits. One, Apple has now employed a 10% discounts for active military and veterans on all their products. So that's pretty cool. I want to note that that's the same 10% that their own employees get off their products. So that's cool. But the big thing for me this week is, so everybody knows, me and my girlfriend for Christmas, we got each other Apple Watch Series 4s. Have it on my wrist right now, and they just had a big OS update, which has enabled the EKG feature on the watch.
Oh, very nice.
Which is the big fancy new feature that's officially FDA approved. First over-the-counter consumer device that will give you an accurate EKG reading. And I can confirm, A, it's cool as shit. B, that both my hearts and my girlfriend's hearts are in what is called a sinus wave, which is the normal, standard, healthy heart rhythm. And that's versus the AFib or AFib fibrillation, which anybody who's listening to the show knows that my dad has fought with for like the last 8 years, which is bad. And it throws like all your fucking body organs out of whack.
Yeah.
So now, normally I'd just be like, hey, it's cool. I'm healthy. My girlfriend's healthy. You know, my dad already had his surgery. Like, this would have totally been a product that would have been super helpful a couple of years ago for him.
Yeah.
However, my interesting note on technology this week actually comes from the well-respected editorial of technology, CNET.com. And their tech reviews editor, Gal, she went to go write the review for this, for the EKG feature, and she tested it, and then it told her heart was fucked up.
Oh, shit.
Right? And she went, no, that can't be right, because she had the OS a week early, so she thought it was maybe a bug, because it wasn't officially out yet, but, you know, she was reviewing it early. So she did it like 6 or 8 more times, and it still said, go see a doctor. And so she was like, well, fuck it. I'm the CNET editor. Let's bring the film crew. So if you go over to CNET right now, you can watch a little video where she goes to the doctor, and the doctor has no idea about technology. And she's like, hey, so my watch is telling me that my heart is not good. Can I get like some scans or something? And he's like, your watch? What? You know?
Yeah.
And so she goes through the battery of the different heart things, and they find that, I don't remember the technical medical term, but basically there was like a low, kind of like a bass line in music. Like there's like a bass rhythm in her heart that is apparently a telltale sign of something happening like 5 or 10 years down the line that could develop into something really bad.
Oh, wow.
And so the video and the article ends with her saying, yeah, so we got the checkup. They found this thing. The doctor was like, wow, that little device could tell that? And it told you to come see me? And then we did the tests, and like officially medically doctor confirmed it. And so her review basically ended with like, I could tell you all about the different things and how you do the stuff, but really what I'm going to tell you is it fucking works, and it's probably saved my life in the future. Oh, shit. Oh, you back? Hello?
Hello?
Hi.
That's weird.
It disconnected
I got a phone
you.
call. Yeah,
Oh.
I got a phone call. Apparently it disconnected me.
Oh, yeah. It does that on Skype on phones.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
Thanks, Skype.
I mean, it does kind of make sense that it would prioritize an actual phone call over an internet connection.
It does.
But it also sucks, too. How much of that did you get?
I got, she went to the doctor and did all the tests. It was confirmed. The doctor thought it was cool, and then I got the phone call.
Okay, yeah, it was confirmed, and she's got some things to do medically to help treat that thing over the next couple years. Like, I guess it's like totally treatable, early, totally caught it kind of thing. But the doctor was impressed that it caught it so early, and that it was indeed correct. And then the CNET editor ended with, you know, like, I could tell you all how to use it and a usual tech editor thing, or I could tell you that the fucking thing just saved my life in the future. So I'm giving it 5 stars. So,
well, that's
yeah.
I don't keep up on a lot of Apple products, not because I don't like them. They are great products. It's not something I'm ever going to have because I don't do iPhone.
Yeah, I understand.
However, that story with the EKG kind of reminds me. I think it was the Series 2 watch
Yep.
had such a sensitive heart rate monitor in it.
Mm-hmm.
It could actually detect a fetal heart rate.
Yeah.
So a lot of I don't say a lot, some of the hospitals that had high risk pregnancies or whatnot, they would actually have them wear an Apple Watch to monitor the baby's heart rate.
Yeah, because ever since the original Apple Watch release, the basic heart rate sensor in it is every bit as good as the $800 clip one that you'd put on your finger at a typical hospital.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's, I don't know. I think stuff like that is really fucking cool. That we're basically entering the age of Star Trek now, where I mean, it's not necessarily a tricorder where it fucking scans you from a distance. You know, it does have to actually read some measurements through your skin. But the fact that they can actually take your goddamn vitals now is amazing. Like, the times we live in, man. It's crazy.
What a time to be alive.
Right? And with a good sinus rhythm. Yeah. As a side note on the rhythm thing, they do actually give you like a little tutorial, and they show you about 5 different heart rate patterns. So you know what you're looking at. Like it tells you after it's done the reading, but they like show you some different patterns. Like, all right, this one's good, this one's bad, this one's kind of bad. You know, and they basically just give you a nice little simple, you know, here's what you're looking for when you take an EKG. And then as far as the actual use of it, you know, the cool factor comes in from it's like it reads it in real time, and so you get like a little, you know, you see that heart rate, you know, the up and down, which you would see at a hospital, like on your watch in real time, which is pretty wild to see, actually. You know, it's not some fancy animation or something, like it's your actual heart rhythm, which is interesting.
Yeah.
And then for those who don't know, as far as how it works, basically on the back of the watch, there's 2 electrodes right next to the heart rate sensor. And then you take your index finger on your opposing takes your pulse.
Yeah. All right. So that was my wife calling again. So I think I'm going to have to go.
I mean, that was all I had. I guess we'll have to put our Android versus iOS Rumble on pause for a later date.
Yeah, I guess so.
But we definitely got to do it, and I think we should do it when we got Mike, because he was a former Android user. So we cover all grounds. We've got the 2 zealots, me and you, and then we've got the middle grounder.
Yeah.
Sounds good. All right. Well, thank you very much, Burningwing, for pitch hitting an episode for Mike.
Well, thanks for having me.
I'm sure he'll appreciate it as well. It was lovely talking to you. Great conversations, as always. And I suppose I'll catch you either next show or an Anthem.
Both, probably.
Excellent. All right. Let me just do signs off, and then we'll both get out of here. Once again, I'm author, podcaster, gamer Tim K. Trotter, signing off for the Forking Your podcast. Get forked. You can check us out at www.dynamicworksproductions.com. Tweet at us at GetForkedPod. Email us questions, comments, and concerns. The Forking Your podcast at gmail.com. And check out our sister show that Mike does with me as well. The Fork in Your Path podcast, an actual play RPG podcast. New episodes go up every Sunday afternoon. And until next week, the steel horse he rides, dead or alive. Want to sign out, buddy?
Burningwing everywhere that you can find me, except for Twitter. There's Burning Jorts, because I like to mess with people. Other than that, catch y'all later.
All right. And we're out.
Thank you for listening to a Dynamic Works production podcast. You can find our podcast at www.dynamicworksproductions.com. Feel free to email us at dynamicworks@mac.com.
This is Dominic Armato, the voice of Guybrush Threepwood, and you're listening to a Dynamic Works production podcast.
The Citadel, Arrival, is the first installment in a series of epic science fiction short stories reminiscent of the Pulp Fiction style. It's a fast-paced story that will take you through twists and turns that you will not expect, until they are thrust upon you with all the force, excitement, and chaos of a plasma cannon blast. The story follows Katarl, a nobody cog in the working wheels of a futuristic society run completely by Megacorp, a corporation that carefully runs and manages the lives of the people living under its sphere of power. On one of Katarl's few and far between days off from work, an outing he had hoped would be fun and relaxing turns into an explosive adventure that drags him kicking and screaming into situations and challenges that will make him question every aspect of his life. Watch this colorful tapestry unfurl as Katarl and his newfound allies find their way through this classic, yet oddly surprising tale of good and evil, where nothing is quite what it appears to be. That's The Citadel, Arrival, by author Tim K. Trotter, available right now on Amazon Kindle Store and iTunes iBookstore for only $2.99.
Alright, thanks so much, man.
Yep, thank you.
Yep. Alright, you have a good rest of your weekend, man.
You too.
And watch some trailers.
Yeah, I'll have to.
Yeah, and definitely check out that the Anthem story trailer. I'm interested on your feedback on it.
Okay, I will.
Alright, later, man. Peace.
All right, bye. You there?
Yeah, I'm here. It's giving me all kinds of fucking errors. I've got like a weird whining buzz coming through. I'm not sure if it's coming from my mic or if it's coming from you. It's giving me the poor network connection a couple of times. I'll assume it's your hotel Wi-Fi.
I'm not on hotel Wi-Fi.
Well, shit.
I can try turning on the Wi-Fi and see if that helps, but
Yeah. Let's give that a go, please.
is that any better?
No, like it happens after you talk, and it's like a zip, 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 like noise. It's very bizarre.
Huh.
Like it sounds literally like electrical feedback. Quite bizarre.
Feedback. Well,
Now it sounds like you're in a wind tunnel.
better.
That's good. What did you do?
I played with the setting on my microphone.
Oh, well, there you go.
And
That's-
fixed everything.
Sounds perfect. Sounds excellent.
Okay,
Sweet. That works.
that'll work.
That works. Excelente. All right. So, I was trying to ask. What do they got you doing out of town until basically Christmas?
I gotta help. Textron has their main plant up in Wichita to pump out jets.
Okay.
We have a smaller plant down in Independence, Kansas that does all the single engine stuff and
Okay.
the 208,
Uh-huh.
a Caravan, probably the most well-known planes there is. They just needed some help to get all their deliveries out for the quarter
Oh, I
in a
see.
year. So they sent, I think right now we got 6 people down here from Wichita.
Oh, okay. Cool.
So
Sounds exciting.
it's something.
So not exciting, but it's a thing.
It's good money. So
Well, yeah. Can't argue with that right before Christmas.
yeah.
Yeah, I know for me, my personal work has been a little scary slow for December. Usually we're slammed right up until Christmas.
Oh,
And
really?
it's not slammed. Which is not good because As you may or may not know from listening to the show, I'm taking over my dad's company at the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
And it's a little scary.
Yeah, that would be a little scary.
Yeah, because, the pay goes from hourly to, well, was their work performed and did we get paid?
Yeah.
Very different game.
Very, very much so.
Yeah, indeed. Well, shall we get right to it?
Sure.
Okay, sounds good. All right. Cut in!